The guy only needed 2 minutes and 36 seconds to finish the 1,000-meter run, and that alone was enough to make every girl on campus scream herself hoarse. He merely splashed some bottled water over his handsome face. And the very next second, a love-struck underclassman was already offering him a towel so he could wipe off his sweat. But the school tyrant could not stand the sight of it, and, as if to stake his claim, hurled a baseball straight at him. Xue Jing caught it with one hand, but the burning pain in his palm was anything but light. He turned to ask his best buddy if he knew who that guy was, and Li Gu immediately ran over the moment he heard the question. But after getting a clear look at the person who had thrown the ball and realizing it was the school tyrant Pei Youguang, cold sweat instantly broke out all over him. How'd you end up clashing with that guy? Don't tell me it was because of a woman again. At this point, you might as well just pick one and save yourself from making enemies everywhere. But Xue Jing only looked disgusted and tossed the towel from the underclassman over to Li Gu, then turned and walked away. Li Gu hurriedly tried to stop him, warning that Pei Youguang was not someone easy to mess with, and asked what he planned to do. Xue Jing only gave a two-word answer: work out. Li Gu immediately said that working out was useless. If he wanted results, he needed martial arts. Only Xue Jing knew that working out might not do much for ordinary people. But for him, it was a completely different story. Because 1 month ago, he had inexplicably arrived in this world. One that resembled Earth yet was not quite Earth. And he had not come alone. These translucent panels had appeared along with him. As long as he trained a certain ability to a high enough level, he could activate the corresponding skill. Although training every day brought him tremendous benefits, the drain it caused was just as severe. Still, he was not pushing himself this hard just to flex. This place was called the 5th Metropolitan Ring. And since it was a ring, there was naturally an inner zone and an outer zone. The farther out one went, the more barren and poor it became. The farther in, the more prosperous and prestigious it was. In another half year, he would be graduating. Whether he would gamble everything to force his way into the inner ring or stay poor for the rest of his life, the time had come to make that choice. That night, Xue Jing went downstairs to buy some supplies. And on his way home, a little black cat suddenly leaped out from nowhere and blocked his path. There was a metal ring hanging from its tail. Its body was filthy. Several patches had even lost their fur entirely. The little black cat looked at Xue Jing once, then immediately collapsed unconscious. At first, Xue Jing thought that now even cats had learned how to fake accidents for sympathy. But after crouching down for a closer look, he realized the cat was covered in wounds. It had obviously lost a fight earlier. And yet, the black cat lying there muttered in human language through its haze, "I didn't expect the world of stray cats to be this cruel." Xue Jing froze on the spot, wondering if he was hallucinating. Did that cat just speak? What exactly was going on with it? Thinking someone nearby might be pulling a prank, he checked the cat's body for some kind of voice device. But the moment Xue Jing touched the metal ring, 2 notifications popped up before his eyes. Divine substance detected. Extracting divinity. That was when he learned that this planet was called Earthstar, a world known as Zhuxia. 287 years ago, on the day God died, every human on Earthstar witnessed that spectacle with their own eyes. After that, Xue Jing brought the little black cat back home and specifically bought cat food for it. But the little black cat only turned its head away with a look of disdain, and Xue Jing's mouth twitched. "Aren't you a stray cat? You won't even eat this? Or could it be that you're not a cat at all?" With that thought in mind, Xue Jing quickly walked into the kitchen and got to work making a hot plate of green pepper shredded pork over rice. Sure enough, the moment the little black cat saw human food, it practically drooled all over the place. Watching the way it ate, Xue Jing instantly knew he had guessed right. The reason it could speak human language was because it was not a cat at all, but a person who had turned into one. As for the reason, it was probably this. After an unknown amount of time, a line of text appeared on Xue Jing's panel. Divinity Skill Twin Soul has met the activation conditions. Activate Divinity Skill? Xue Jing did not hesitate for even a second and immediately chose yes. Very soon, the panel shattered with a thunderous crash, radiating blinding light, then gathered in Xue Jing's hand, before seeping into his body. The passive effect of Twin Soul was simple: 2 lives. After death, he could freely choose when to revive within 7 days, and the cooldown time was 3 months. Xue Jing had not expected divinity skills to be this absurd. Being able to choose his own revival time meant enemies could never camp his corpse. If even the passive effect was already this outrageous, then how ridiculous would the active skill be? Since unlocking it required divinity, then all he had to do was keep extracting divinity, right? But after taking a closer look, he noticed the little black cat was covered in wounds. And if he kept draining it like this, that would be a little too inhumane. Forget it. Better think of another way. Still, he could not just let her off that easily. He might as well head out and look for clues related to divinity, while also seeing what she would do after he left. As expected, the moment Xue Jing stepped out, the little black cat's expression immediately turned serious, unaware that a camera on the rooftop was quietly recording everything. Meanwhile, after leaving home, Xue Jing entered the world of the outer ring. For the people here, getting into the inner ring was absurdly difficult. Even if they made it in, they would still have to pay a staggering fee, enough to bankrupt a fairly well-off family. Even so, countless people still chased after that chance. What most of them did not know, however, was that there was another path. If someone could become a martial artist, every problem would solve itself. Pei Youguang, the school tyrant, swore he would teach Xue Jing a lesson. So that very night, he had his lackeys corner him in an alley. "You're Xue Jing, right?" Xue Jing glanced at them and calmly asked, "What do you want?" That bald lackey had clearly mastered the art of bullying under someone else's name. "You think you can just hit on the girl our boss Pei Youguang called dibs on? You're dead meat today." Xue Jing let out a sigh. "What was it you just called him?" "Boss." The instant the words left his mouth, a stone shot forward like a bullet and slammed into the bald guy's chest, sending him flying. The others froze where they stood, terror written all over their faces. "W, what did he just do? I couldn't even see it." The next moment, another stone flew past Pei Youguang and instantly took down every lackey he had brought with him. It turned out Xue Jing had activated the skill aim. Once triggered, it greatly enhanced his dynamic vision. When he focused hard enough, it even gave him something close to bullet time. Pei Youguang quickly snapped out of it, took a runner's stance, and charged at Xue Jing. Above his head, the phantom image of a dragon's head even appeared. But in Xue Jing's eyes, everything was moving countless times slower. With a slight sidestep, he dodged Pei Youguang's punch, and at the same time Xue Jing recognized it for what it was, the power of martial arts. Pei Youguang thought Xue Jing had only gotten lucky and sneered, "You little brat, you're pretty quick on your feet." But Xue Jing's face lit up with surprise. So Pei Youguang actually knew martial arts after all. Perfect. He walked toward Pei Youguang step by step, completely unfazed by that power. Asking around would be too much trouble. "Tell me everything you know, or I won't be holding back." The next second, Pei Youguang launched a barrage of punches at Xue Jing, so fast and dense they looked like bullets. But it did not take long for Xue Jing to spot the weakness. He countered with a single punch that left Pei Youguang reeling, and at the same time fulfilled the system's requirements to activate the skill combat. That night, Xue Jing had not only improved his dynamic vision, but also the precision of his punches. Against a martial artist at Pei Youguang's level, he was more than enough. One punch was all it took to beat the arrogance out of Pei Youguang. He collapsed to the ground and begged nonstop. "Stop hitting me, Brother Jing, I'm begging you." Xue Jing did not keep beating him. Instead, he leaned in and asked, "What exactly was that punch you used just now?" Pei Youguang answered honestly, "That was inner force, not a technique." Inner force is when you gather the energy from every part of your body and then drive it outside through your moves. Xue Jing pressed him on how to train it and who to learn from. But Pei Youguang could not explain it clearly and could only beg for mercy. "Brother Jing, I only learned the basics. I really can't explain it well. Please spare me." Xue Jing grabbed him by the collar, his tone turning dangerous. "Playing dumb, are you? I heard you're a real menace. Smoking, drinking, getting inked, committing arson, murder, and even throwing wild underground raves. A guy with a rep that brutal is folding already?" Tears streamed down Pei Youguang's face. "Big bro, those are all rumors. I just used them to build myself an image. If I were really that ruthless, there's no way I'd still be in school." Hearing that, Xue Jing slapped him across the face. "That one was payback for earlier. If you fail to learn your lesson, then every time I see you, I'll beat you again. It is a fact that you bully your classmates. When you go back, write a self-criticism. Tomorrow, during morning study, recite it 10 times in front of the entire class. Have your lackeys record it, and I'll check the video later." As he said that, Xue Jing shoved his phone right in front of Pei Youguang's face, startling him so badly he shivered again. "P, please, don't hit me anymore." But Xue Jing was not trying to beat him again. He wanted the address. "You said you can't explain it clearly, right? Then I'll go ask myself." After that, he followed the address Pei Youguang wrote down and walked several hundred meters into the city's inner ring. By then, layer after layer of system notifications was surfacing endlessly within his sea of consciousness. When he trained hard for an hour in the gym, he would only gain a little over 200 experience points. But now, after just one fight, that was not even especially exhausting, the rewards had already far surpassed his usual training gains. Fighting counted as a health activity now. That only proved, once again, that the panel did not encourage secluded training. He really did need to get out more. Before long, Xuejing found the dojo he was looking for. But the moment he stepped inside, the female receptionist stopped him. "Sure, keep it down. Master is teaching right now." The so-called breathing method is the foundational practice that activates the body's inner still force through breathing and circulation. Only when the qi inside your body is fully set in motion can you be considered to have truly entered the path of martial arts. Now, follow along with me. The moment Xuejing heard the words entry-level method, his eyes lit up. Wasn't this exactly what he had been hoping to learn? So he lowered his voice and asked, "May I join in too?" The receptionist's heart skipped a beat at how handsome he was before she answered, "You can, but don't push yourself too hard." Xuejing quietly walked over to one of the mats, and at the same time, his charm art experience increased by another 30 points. Looking at Xuejing, the receptionist could not help feeling a little worried. This kid had to be new to martial arts. Could he really handle it? And you lot had better produce at least a few usable ones this time, or Master is going to kick all of you out. As they inhaled large amounts of oxygen, the disciples quickly began suffering from varying degrees of dizziness, nausea, and blurred vision. Even Choi Jong-won, the most promising student in the dojo, ended up failing. The female receptionist immediately pressed her hands together and pleaded for mercy. "Please give me a few more days, Master. I'll definitely find someone suitable for you." But before she could finish speaking, she realized the old master had already walked past her, then stopped in front of Xuejing and made a gesture for silence. "Don't say a word yet. This child is still holding on." On his very first attempt at the breathing method, Xuejing drew in a massive amount of oxygen and felt as if his insides were swelling non-stop, as though he might explode at any moment. Anyone whose lung capacity was not up to the mark would not even qualify to attempt it. When he exhaled that final breath and slowly opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was the old master's tense expression as he hurriedly asked if Xuejing felt uncomfortable anywhere. But not only did Xuejing feel no discomfort at all, he instead felt an incredible sense of exhilaration. The female manager immediately grabbed his hand as if she had found a lifeline. "What's your name? How would you like to join our Golden Wind dojo?" But the moment she finished speaking, the glass outside suddenly shattered, and a blur moving at terrifying speed burst into the dojo and lunged at one of the disciples. Its razor-sharp mouth parts slashed across the disciple's abdomen, throwing the entire scene into chaos. That sudden turn of events left everyone present frozen in fear. The old master and the female manager hurried to maintain order and get the disciples out of the dojo, but the cockroach man only paused briefly beside the fallen disciple, before suddenly changing targets and charging straight at the female manager. Fortunately, Xuejing reacted in time and barely managed to pull her out of danger. The still shaken female manager looked at Xuejing in a completely different light after he saved her. Staring at the cockroach man, Xuejing suddenly recalled what Pei Yoguang had said. Inner force was about gathering the energy from every part of the body and then releasing it outward through one's moves. And right now, this was the perfect chance to test it. The next moment, the cockroach man exploded forward again with terrifying speed and charged straight at Xuejing. Its hardened claw colliding head-on with Xuejing's bare fist, unleashing a deafening sonic boom. This thing could not actually be like a cockroach and withstand 300 times its own body weight and force. Could it? If that was the case, then he would just gather all his strength into a single point. Very soon, Xuejing's power rose to another level. Not only did he shatter the cockroach man's claw on the spot, he even blasted it over 10 meters away, dragging a long streak of blood across the ground. Xuejing dusted himself off and felt that this cockroach man seemed much weaker than it looked. But the old master saw the flaw immediately. You only just grasp force release, and you already unleashed that much at once. Your body won't be able to withstand it. Sure enough, the cockroach man was basically an evolved cockroach. Its monstrous vitality allowed it to stand up once again. Xuejing crooked a finger at it with a smug look. Want to keep going? No matter how many times you come at me, the result will be the same. But when he once again tried to circulate his chi channels and forcibly condense his force, he suddenly coughed up blood and, for reasons he could not understand, instantly lost his strength. The cockroach man seemed to sense the opening too and seized the chance to slash forward with its other claw. Xuejing's heart sank at once. Looks like I really overdid it this time. But at that very moment, A streak of sword chi suddenly swept across the scene, and its terrifying destructive force tore the cockroach man's body to pieces. Xuejing stared ahead in shock, only to see a white-haired beauty in a skin-tight combat suit standing there. She introduced herself as Voidblade, captain of White Crow Squad 838, and declared that she would take over from here and that all unrelated personnel were to evacuate immediately. It was Xuejing's first time hearing about the White Crow Squad, and he was stunned that someone could defeat the Cockroach Man in a single blow. Were all members of that organization monsters like this? But in Voidblade's eyes, the truly surprising one was Xuejing. This kid looked no older than 17 or 18, yet he had managed to injure the Cockroach Man that badly with his bare hands. And on top of that, he was ridiculously handsome. She needed to find an excuse to recruit him. Then she handed Xuejing a note. Come this Sunday at 5 in the afternoon. The address is on the paper. Anything you want to know, I'll tell you. Xuejing lowered his eyes to read it, and there on the note were the words, Qingchang Library, 7th floor. Afterward, the female manager kept hovering around Xuejing and insisted on taking him home. No, to the hospital for proper checkup. Xuejing signaled that he was fine, then turned and left. The female manager still looked completely smitten and even called after him, Student, you have to come tomorrow. Only the old master understood the truth. That was probably not going to happen, because for a child who had shown this level of strength on his very first contact with chi state cultivation, a small dojo like theirs could never hold him. At the same time, system panels kept appearing before Xuejing's eyes, informing him that he had gained a huge amount of fitness experience. It included not only charm art and combat experience, but also fulfilled the conditions to activate a new skill, Inch Force. Inch Force was the art of compressing chi into a single point and accelerating it to the limit within the shortest possible distance, allowing even the toughest defense to be broken. The more Xuejing thought about it, the itchier his fist became. He could not help clenching his hand and trying to gather force again. But very soon a faint surge of roiling blood rose in his chest, forcing him to stop at once. Better not court death. I should rest for the night and try again tomorrow. But White Crow Squad and the Cockroach Man. Just how many secrets did this world still hold that he knew nothing about? He might as well check out that address over the weekend. Then he took out his phone to check the surveillance footage, only to discover that the little black cat had actually turned on the computer. The moment he got home, he demanded an explanation. Hey, while I was gone, what exactly were you doing on the computer? The little black cat instantly broke out in cold sweat and hurriedly thought of pretending to be an ordinary cat by meowing her way through it. But Xuejing was already utterly exhausted. Fine, if you won't talk, forget it. I'll settle this with you after I wake up. The little black cat had no idea what was wrong with him. The moment he got back, he collapsed onto the bed and fell completely unconscious. But with an animal's keen sense of smell, she quickly caught the scent of blood on him. Did he get into a fight with someone? Meow, damn it, he's my person. Who would dare bully him? With that thought, the little black cat jumped onto Xuejing's stomach and blurted out in human speech, Boy, tell me what happened. Don't worry, just say it. No matter what it is, I, Ning Fengwan, leader of the dragon sect, will back you up. But Xuejing was already too drained to respond properly. He only muttered weakly, so you really can talk. I knew you were human. Whatever. Let's talk after I wake up. With that, he curled into his blanket and fell fast asleep, unmoved no matter how much the little black cat fussed around him. Xuejing slept straight through until the next day. After recovering his energy, he prepared a table full of hearty dishes, and the little black cat finally stopped hiding the fact that she had once been human. While eating, she asked, So you weren't beaten up by someone? You actually defeated a monster? I've never heard of those things making it all the way into the city district. Xuejing rubbed her little cat head. Thanks for worrying about me so much, Wanner. The little black cat immediately blushed. No outsider had ever called her that before. Don't call me Wanner. Show some respect and address me as sect leader. Xuejing simply pulled up the surveillance footage. Since sect leader Wanner can talk now, why not start by explaining what exactly you were doing in that video? The little black cat instantly broke out in cold sweat all over again and could only confess the secret she had been hiding. This thing is called a cattail ring. It's a divine relic. I was looking up information about it. Xuejing reached out and touched it without the slightest hesitation. So this thing is a divine relic. 287 years ago, on the day God died, those golden particles were said to have been divine relics. He had only heard rumors before, but now he had finally seen one with his own eyes. No wonder he could absorb divinity from it. The little black cat increasingly felt that something was wrong. How long are you planning to keep touching it? Only then did Xuejing remember that she had originally been human, and he immediately stopped. So, were you looking for a way to use it? But the little black cat looked dejected. No, I was trying to take it off. You know, the Dragon Sect is the biggest gang in Qingqing. We control a lot of entertainment businesses, and we also work with martial arts gyms on certain pharmaceutical deals. We were probably growing too fast and made other people jealous. I was attacked in my own villa, and they forced this thing onto me. That's how I turned into a cat. By the time I escaped, after all that effort, the Dragon Sect had already fallen into someone else's hands. I can only return to human form by taking this off, and then I'll kill every last one of them. Shui Jing asked what she planned to do next. If there was no information online, then go to the library probably would not help much either, right? But the little black cat clearly already had a second plan. As for that, this sect leader already has it all figured out. I'm gonna have you train in martial arts and become stronger. Shui Jing looked completely baffled. What do those two things have to do with each other? The little black cat explained, once you get strong enough, all sorts of organizations will come looking for you. One of them might even have divine relic holders. Then you can follow that trail. Shui Jing recalled the White Crow Squad from last night. It seemed someone really had already come looking for him. The little black cat continued, so I'm going to introduce you to the best dojo there is. Have you heard of Hidden Dragon Dojo? Shui Jing raised an eyebrow. He really did remember that dojo. Back when he wanted to learn martial arts, he had checked the tuition fees of every dojo in Qingqiang, and Hidden Dragon Dojo had been the most expensive of them all. But the reason Shui Jing remembered it was not the sky-high tuition. It was because its online review score was terrible, with people constantly saying the teaching quality was nowhere near worth the price. The little black cat let out a cold snort. Those losers can't even endure hardship, and they still want to learn martial arts? In the real martial artist circles, nobody dares look down on Hidden Dragon Dojo. Shui Jing immediately asked, then how am I supposed to get in? The little black cat lifted a paw and pointed upward. By following Jianghu rules, of course. You challenge the dojo. Shui Jing's face immediately filled with horror. If I smash up their place, they'll still take me in? The little black cat looked at him like he had never seen the world before, utterly disgusted. Isn't challenging the dojo just another form of interview? Even dojo disciples were accepted in tiers. Paying your way in was not enough. Even if you trained seriously, it would all be pointless without talent. And even with talent, raw ability still mattered. Taking 10 years or 8 years to amount to something was no good either. On the path of martial arts, temperament mattered above all else. Only with an invincible spirit could one throw an invincible punch. Challenging a dojo was a way of forging oneself, and also the best method of proving that spirit. Remember to go to the dojo tomorrow. I need to take care of something first. Early the next morning, Shui Jing really did head to Hidden Dragon Dojo to issue a challenge. But before he could even state his purpose, he was greeted warmly by one of the disciples. Shui Jing could feel the other party secretly tightening his grip during the handshake, and a thought flashed through his mind. Was this some kind of test? If it was a test, they had to take it seriously. Very soon, after Shui Jing used inner force, the disciple could not help crying out for him to stop. All right, that hurts, let go. His yelp immediately drew the attention of the surrounding disciples. Don't mind him. That guy's a fight addict. He challenges everyone he meets, and nobody even knows how many times he's already lost. At that moment, someone nearby suddenly exclaimed, "The old master and the core disciples are here? What's going on?" Even the old master came out in person. The core disciples who weren't out have all shown up too. What kind of big event is this? Don't tell me our dojo is going under. Shui Jing focused his eyes and saw that the little black cat, Warner, was sitting primly on the old master's lap. It has been a long time since anyone dared to challenge my dojo. Young man, do you think you have the qualifications? Shui Jing lowered his head and looked at his panel, still a little unsure himself. I honestly don't know if I qualify or not. All the battle-related levels still seem pretty low. The old master immediately released an imposing aura. In that case, let me ask you a few questions first. What's your name? How old are you? Where do you live? And what do your parents do? Shui Jing answered on instinct, my name is Shui Jing. I'm 17. Are you an only child? Do you have any brothers or sisters? The more Shui Jing listened, the stranger it felt. Why did this sound more and more like a matchmaking interview? The little black cat gave a light cough, and the old master instantly turned much more kindly again. Ha ha ha, don't be impatient. If you're going to become family, of course I need to ask a few extra questions. The moment the words son-in-law came out, both Shui Jing and the little black cat stared at each other in utter confusion, having no idea what was going on. At that moment, a young woman standing behind the old master and pushing his wheelchair stepped forward on her own. Grandpa, whether he qualifies or not, we'll know after a fight. Little brother, don't worry. I'll go easy on you. This was the first time Xue Jing had ever faced someone who had truly trained in martial arts, and he could not help feeling a bit excited. At the same time, the surrounding disciples had already started clamoring among themselves. The youngest core disciple is personally stepping in. This kid's done for today. I bet $5 all 4 of his limbs get broken. Only the little black cat caught the key point. Weren't you just talking about matchmaking? Why are you actually fighting now? Zhu Shanning took one step forward, and her whole body shot out like an arrow released from the bow. But no matter how absurdly fast she was still too slow in front of the system panel. In the end, Zhu Shanning's punch struck nothing but a fading afterimage, while Xue Jing had already shifted sideways, caught hold of her wrist, and followed through with a shoulder throw that slammed her hard into the ground. Zhu Shanning dropped to the floor on the spot and lost consciousness. The other core disciples showed not anger, but delight. His dynamic vision and grappling timing are remarkably precise. He really does have a bit of our old style. The old master even raised a thumbs up and burst into laughter. You really did bring this old man an excellent seedling. The little black cat looked smug. Of course. Do you even know who I am? As for Xue Jing, he had no time to care about the experience notifications going wild on his panel. He hurriedly asked the old master whether this counted as successfully challenging the dojo. The old master smiled and answered, "You've never practiced martial arts, yet you defeated Zhu Shanning. Without question, you already qualify to become a core disciple. So, shouldn't you change the way you address us now?" As he said this, his expression became even gentler. Xue Jing froze for a moment at those words, then wisely cupped his fists toward everyone one by one. "Master, senior brothers, senior sisters, greetings." At that moment, Zhu Shanning also sat up unsteadily. "Hey, what about me? I'm your 6th senior sister. I was just careless earlier, so don't get arrogant just because you won once." Xue Jing quickly bowed to his 6th senior sister, while inwardly muttering that before he came, she had apparently been the youngest one here. Just then, a girl in a qipao walked up and said to Xue Jing, "Young Master Xue, I'll take you to handle the admission paperwork." Hearing that, Xue Jing could not help feeling puzzled. What kind of title is that? The old master smiled as he explained, "My core disciple and naturally can't be looked down on by outsiders. From today on, you're nominally registered as an inner ring resident, so calling you young master is only proper." Xue Jing felt awkward all over and could not help saying, "Could you change the title? Young Master Xue sounds way too embarrassing." The qipao girl suddenly had an idea. "Master Jing, how about that?" Xue Jing immediately gave up resisting. "Fine, whatever, as long as you're happy." After that, the two of them went to the lounge to register. Xue Jing was still thinking that challenging a dojo did not seem nearly as hard as the little black cat had made it sound. One move, and she was down. But the little black cat shook her head at once. "You're wrong. She's actually much stronger than you. Martial arts was never just about comparing numbers. Mental state, condition, information, decision-making, luck, any one of those could become the key factor that decided victory or defeat." Xue Jing thought it over. "So you mean she lost because she underestimated me?" The little black cat nodded. "Exactly. If Zhu Shanning had just been a little more cautious and waited for you to make the first move, it would never have ended like this." Xue Jing finally understood. "Even so, I only won because I got lucky. Looks like I still need a lot more training." Afterward, he asked where the little black cat had gone the night before. "Don't tell me you really stayed in the dojo all night?" The little black cat replied as if it were obvious. "If I wanted to get you in here, I had to at least give Grandpa Lee a heads up. Back then, he nearly stole my grandfather's woman." Xue Jing was instantly speechless, thinking that this old man had basically been a male homewrecker. The qipao girl handed Xue Jing an identity card. "Master Jing, when you come tomorrow, you could just scan it at the entrance." The next day, Xue Jing trained in the dojo for a long time. All kinds of experience values were soaring, and his inner force level smoothly rose to level 2. Meanwhile, the old master stood in front of him the whole time, constantly instructing him. "Don't stop. Hold on a little longer. You're almost there. Don't let a whole night of effort go to waste." Very soon, Xue Jing's inner force level rose once again, reaching level 3. After leveling up, he finally let out a long breath of relief and collapsed onto the ground. The old master looked at him with utter satisfaction. "Of all the disciples I've taken in my life, you are the strongest. It won't be much longer before you can cultivate the true techniques of the Hidden Dragon School." The moment Xue Jing heard the word techniques, he perked up at once. "Then how far do I have to train before I can learn them?" The old master secretly rejoiced. This kid really is a martial arts fanatic. All it took was one simple grip of the old master's hand. and Jing felt a huge amount of true chi surge into his body. It was as if he were a tiny boat trapped in a raging sea with no way to resist. After releasing his hand, the old master asked, "What kinds of exercise do you usually do?" Jing answered honestly, "I mostly just run and don't really do much else." "Is there something wrong with my body?" The old master shook his head, though he still looked incredulous. "No, nothing is wrong. But your body is like something molded by a god with obsessive perfectionism. Every muscle, every bone, every organ is frighteningly balanced and flawless. To put it simply, you're a born martial arts genius." Jing knew perfectly well that this was all thanks to the panel. Ever since he activated the combat skill, his body had become like this. In a way, that really did make him a genius. Then he asked solemnly, "So can I learn that technique now?" But the old master told him not to rush. "You trained the whole night. Your body is covered in injuries. Trying to cultivate a technique now would be no different from courting death." Jing immediately grew anxious and quickly asked what he was supposed to do now. The old master patted him on the shoulder and told him to rest in the lounge for a while. Someone would bring sleeping dragon ointment over soon enough. Before long, night fell, and Jing finally got the person who was supposed to deliver the ointment. But the one who pushed open the door was none other than Zhu Shanning, the woman who had fought him on the day of the dojo challenge. "Junior brother, I'm here to treat your injuries." Jing had thought she came to get even, so he froze for a moment. "Sixth senior sister? Why is it you?" As Zhu Shanning squeezed out the ointment, she beckoned to him with her hand. "Come here, junior brother. Take off your shirt." Jing had no good way to refuse, so he obediently took off his shirt, revealing a body of sharply sculpted muscles. The system detected that someone had developed favorable feelings toward the host, and charm art gained experience once again. Zhu Shanning then told Jing to lie down properly on the bed and not move around. She squeezed out more ointment and spread it directly over his body. Jing felt the coolness of the medicine and shivered instinctively. But Zhu Shanning had already leaned in close, her tone tinged with teasing. "Didn't I tell you not to move? Junior brother, even if your senior sister seems like this, I'm actually pretty competitive." As she spoke, she carefully tended to his injuries, until suddenly her fingers pressed harder in one spot, sending force straight into his body and making Jing suck in a sharp breath. When Jing stayed silent for too long, Zhu Shanning was the one who got flustered first. "Say something, will you?" Jing smiled and replied, "It's nothing, as long as senior sister is happy." But Zhu Shanning immediately looked wronged. "Fine, it was my fault. I was the one who lost to you because I got careless, and I still tried to take the chance to mess with you, junior brother." The moment she said that, Jing saw his panel explode with notifications saying that charm art experience had increased. Left with no choice, Jing answered seriously, "I'm really not angry. It just honestly hurts a little. Go on, senior sister. You don't need to worry about me." To his surprise, Zhu Shanning perked up at once. "Good, the upper body is done, so now take off your pants too." She even made a move as if to do it herself, scaring Jing into hurriedly stopping her. "I'll handle the lower half myself. No need to trouble you, senior sister." Only then did Zhu Shanning cover her mouth and laugh. "I was just teasing you. Look how scared you got. Well then, the rest is up to 7th junior brother to handle himself." With that, she got up from beside him and left the lounge humming to herself. With the Hidden Dragon Dojo's secret medicine helping him, Jing gained quite a bit more fitness experience that night. Although his body still had not fully recovered, after applying the ointment, both his combat and inner force levels rose by 1. Right, since there was nothing else to do right now, this was the perfect time to go meet that appointment at the library. White Crow Squad sounded embarrassingly edgy, but in practice, it was probably just Qing's special enforcement organization. But why did they choose a library as the meeting place? An hour later, Jing arrived on the 7th floor of Qing Library, only to find it completely empty. There was not a single person there. Just then, a strange woman's voice sounded beside his ear. "Jing, you came. My name is Wu Yuqing. Yu as in childish, Qing as in clear skies." Jing quickly realized she was not the woman who had invited him before, so he immediately asked, "Where's Voidblade? Why did she tell me to come to the library?" Wu Yuqing answered calmly, "She's my informant. If she's recommending someone to me privately, of course we can't meet at the Special Police Bureau. I originally had my doubts about you, but after seeing you in person, I approve. Join us." Jing sat down across from her without the slightest courtesy and asked back, "On what grounds?" Wu Yuqing spoke as though she could see straight through him. "Aren't you curious about divine relics?" Jing was stunned on the spot because he had never told anyone about that. Wu Yuqing smiled. Looks like I guessed right. Then how exactly did you come to know the concept of divine relics? Xuejing immediately became wary and answered coldly, no comment. At the same time, he grew intensely curious about who this woman really was. Wu Yuqing did not press the matter. Instead, she took out a bottle of water and poured it into a teacup. Fine, I can set that question aside for now. First, have a look at this. Give it a try. Xuejing picked up the teacup and downed the water in one gulp. He looked puzzled. Isn't this just plain, purified water? Wu Yuqing said nothing. She simply poured the water from the bottle into a teapot, then poured it back out from the teapot into the teacup. Try it again. Xuejing felt even more confused. It's still purified water, just with one extra step, isn't it? But after taking a small sip, he suddenly realized the water in the cup had turned sweet. Only then did Wu Yuqing begin to explain. 287 years ago, God died. Or, to put it more rigorously, a god died. The scattered points of light released at the moment of that death are what we call the blood of God. The blood of God descends and takes root in objects, living beings, or even fragments of human imagination. And anything inhabited by the blood of God is what we call a divine relic. The Sweetwater Pot, serial number God, 1567, is one such relic. Xuejing suspected she might have added sugar into the pot beforehand, so he asked if he could take a closer look at it himself. Wu Yuqing did not refuse. She handed the pot over directly. But the moment Xuejing touched it, his panel began flooding him with notifications that divinity was being extracted. He ran his hands over the pot and asked with open curiosity, "So what exactly does it do? Does it make the water sweet without sugar, or can it boil water from nothing?" Wu Yuqing found his wide-eyed, almost innocent reaction unexpectedly amusing. Close enough. Now try guessing again. Only then did Xuejing realize that the amount of water inside the pot did not seem to have decreased at all. In other words, the water inside might actually be infinite. At that moment, the divinity Xuejing currently possessed had already reached 502 points. Wu Yuqing looked briefly surprised, and then the corners of her lips slowly lifted. As an outstanding student of Qingfu High, you should understand what that means, shouldn't you? Of course, Xuejing understood. It meant the thing completely ignored the law of conservation of energy. Matter was energy, and infinite water was, for all practical purposes, infinite energy. Taken to the extreme, something like this could overturn the most fundamental laws of the universe. So is the endless electricity flowing through the inner ring also connected to things like this? Wu Yuqing advised him not to overthink it. The very existence of divine relics symbolized irrationality. They were not man-made, and they could never be replicated. Then she handed him her business card and said, 3 days ago, as an ordinary person, you defeated a monster. When facing such a terrifying, unknown creature, you didn't show even a trace of fear. From a psychological standpoint alone, you've already surpassed the vast majority of people. So I want you to join our Wu Clan Divine Relic Containment Company. But before she could finish speaking, she saw Xuejing suddenly grab her hand with complete sincerity. Big sis, please, you have to let me join your team. I'll do whatever you say, boss lady. In truth, to Xuejing, a company like this was basically a paradise built for extracting divinity. Just hearing the name told him that he would be coming into contact with plenty of divine relics from now on. For him, that was no different from letting a kid loose in a candy store. At present, the only known source of divinity was divine relics. If just one passive skill, Twin Soul, was already this outrageous, then if its active abilities were even more unreasonable, no one in this world would be able to defeat him. At that thought, Xuejing could not help laughing out loud. Wu Yuqing could only stare at him in speechless disbelief. Then, following procedure, she took out a contract. Take a look first. If you don't see any problems, sign it here. Xuejing read it carefully and found that it was not much different from an ordinary employment contract, except that it came with an additional confidentiality agreement. For example, if injury or death occurred during containment work, the company would compensate the family with 5 million. Wu Yuqing added, divine relics are classified into 4 ranks based on their danger level: B, C, and D. Since you're just starting, the company will only assign D-rank tasks to you. As long as you follow the procedures, there won't be any danger. It's only after you grow stronger that you'll be exposed to genuinely dangerous work. Xuejing continued, then what about A rank? Wu Yuqing explained, you don't need to think about that yet. Once a relic of that level appears, it's not something a single person or company can handle. At that point, official agencies step in. Xuejing still found it strange. Wu Yuqing knew nothing about the panel, and nothing about his joining the dojo, yet she still invited him based on one recommendation from Voidblade. So he asked his final question, why me? Even if I've touched a divine relic before, that doesn't mean I'm qualified, does it? But Wu Yuqing showed a faint smile. You got one thing wrong. It wasn't that you touched a divine relic. It was that the divine relic touched you. Shui Jing's gaze flickered slightly, and realization began to dawn on him. You mean? Wu Yuqing continued. Divine relics themselves carry a certain degree of will. They actively draw near to people who attract them, and among humans, there are indeed some who can actively attract divine relics in return. I'm one of them, and you just so happen to have the same constitution as I do. The salary I'm offering should already be enough to show my sincerity. Shui Jing had not expected himself to be this special. No wonder they were so eager to recruit him. While signing his name, he said, honestly, the salary doesn't really matter to me. I just like divine relics. So please take good care of me from now on, boss lady. After collecting the signed contract, Wu Yuqing looked thoroughly satisfied. Then here's to a happy partnership. After saying goodbye to Wu Yuqing, Shui Jing began calculating inwardly. Between Hidden Dragon Dojo and Divine Relic Containment alone, he was already going to be busy enough. He probably would not have much time for school anymore. So he simply asked his good buddy Li Good to help him request leave. After all, a monthly salary of 200,000 was more than many ordinary people could earn in 10 years after graduation. For now, the most important thing was still to improve his own strength. Only by becoming stronger would he have any hope of going back. He had merely touched one divine relic, the water pot, and his divinity had already risen to 500 points, enough to unlock the active ability within the divinity skill set. And from now on, every level increase would grant him one additional physical enhancement, while doubling its effect when activated. The passive effect of Twin Soul was already basically a resurrection armor, so boosting defense did not really mean much. And his current main offensive method was aim, which did not rely that heavily on raw strength. So after thinking it through, he chose speed first. After all, in martial arts, speed breaks all. Shui Jing looked toward the street lamp at the far end of the road and estimated the distance to be around 100 meters. Then, without using any skill, he sprinted at full speed and finished the entire distance in 10.24 seconds. Not bad. If I activate the skill and run back, I should be even faster. Very soon, once he activated Twin Soul, his whole body felt as though someone had hit fast forward on him, and his movement speed instantly doubled. He made it back to the starting point in only 5.12 seconds. Shui Jing was very satisfied with that result. After all, for an ordinary person, improving a 100-meter sprint from 20 seconds to 12 seconds was difficult, but still achievable with enough intense training. But every additional 0.1 second shaved off after that required 100 or 1,000 times more effort than before. Without enough talent and resources, it was impossible. If he were ever locked in a close-quarters fight where even the slightest mistake meant death, then once he activated this skill, no opponent could possibly predict an ability that so completely defied common sense and instinct. That was the finishing move. That was Twin Soul. It was not physics, nor the limits of the flesh, but a divinity skill that transcended the rules themselves. Shui Jing originally wanted to keep testing it while his body was still warm, but he soon discovered that Twin Soul on the panel had already entered cooldown, and the golden glow around its name was slowly recovering bit by bit. He did a quick calculation. From activation to end, it had only lasted around 20 seconds. It looked like he would have to use it very carefully in the future. The only question was how long it would take to recover. But by the time Shui Jing returned to the base of his apartment building, it was already dark outside. Before he could even step onto the stairs, his vision blurred and dizziness hit him all at once. By the time he woke up again, it was already the next morning. And somehow, he had spent 6 whole hours of sleep right there in the stairwell. He quickly opened the panel and found that Twin Soul's cooldown was almost fully recovered. Calculated that way, every second of Twin Soul used would require 1,000 seconds to recharge. If he used the full duration, then it would take exactly 6 hours to recover. At that moment, Zhu Shanning suddenly sent him a message. Junior brother, why aren't you here for training yet? Only then did Shui Jing remember that he was supposed to go to the dojo today. He did not even have time to go home before rushing off again. By the time he arrived at Hidden Dragon Dojo, breathing hard, Zhu Shanning was already putting other disciples through painful stretching drills. As soon as she saw Shui Jing, she dragged him over and said they were going to spar again, so that the others could see the proper use of force. The disciples clearly all believed that the senior sister had simply been careless last time. Otherwise, how could a junior brother who had only just begun martial arts possibly have beaten her? Some of them even joked that Shui Jing had better make sure not to get himself broken this time. Xue Jing could tell that Zhu Shannying still wanted to win back some face, so there was no way she would be as careless as she had been before. But Xue Jing had no intention of refusing either. It was a perfect chance to test the strength he had gained. The moment he activated Twin Soul, Zhu Shanning's palms were already sweeping straight toward him. But Xue Jing's speed was even more unbelievable, to the point that all anyone could see were a few afterimages. Then, with another shoulder throw, he slammed Zhu Shannying into the ground all over again. This time she did not pass out, but her face was blank with disbelief. Why? I clearly gave it my all. Why did I still lose? Looking at Zhu Shannying lying on the floor, Xue Jing said softly, "Thank you for yielding, Senior Sister Zhu." Then he turned and walked calmly toward the entrance of the training hall. Everywhere he passed, the disciples around him instinctively stepped aside, as though he were surrounded by an invisible wall of pressure. Xue Jing watched the panel and savored the rush of all that experience flooding in. Clearly, once the speed boost of Twin Soul was activated, he was no longer weaker than Zhu Shannying. This ability was absurdly strong. It seemed that from now on, the focus of his training should be on how to make the most of the gap in speed and the shock it created. At that moment, fifth senior brother Chun Fuwang waved at him. "Junior brother, want to practice the hibernating dragon art together?" Xue Jing smiled and nodded. "Sure, then I'll be relying on your guidance, fifth senior brother." The scene shifted, and Chun Fuwang was already sweating buckets. "Junior brother, I thought you were exaggerating when you said you practiced the hibernating dragon art all night, but you're actually on the verge of cultivating dragon chi. That's just absurd. Back when Chun Fuwang first trained it, he had only lasted half an hour. Even fifth senior brother himself, after being in the school for so long, had never managed to produce that kind of aura. As it turned out, among the legends passed down by ancient martial artists, there was an ultimate bodily realm known as the treasure body. The meaning of treasure body was to temper one's flesh until it became a treasure in its own right. Once that realm was achieved, the body could reach 5 supreme states. Dragon elephant might refer to muscles that seem to house the power of dragon and elephant alike. Ironwood tendons refer to meridians as tough and interwoven as the roots of an iron tree. Glazed glass skin refer to skin as flawless as glazed crystal, without crack or leak. Imperishable jade bones refer to bones refined into imperishable jade, unbreakable and eternal. Molten gold blood refer to the state in which, once chi force was activated, the blood throughout the body boiled like volcanic magma. After introducing all this, fifth senior brother tried to reassure Xue Jing that these were only mythic tales in the end. No one had ever truly achieved such a state. But only Xue Jing knew that just because others could not do it did not mean he could not. After all, he had the panel, something no one else possessed. Maybe he really could become a martial legend. Right then, a long-haired man suddenly crashed through the glass window and burst in. Fifth senior brother hurriedly introduced him. "This is our strongest, eldest senior brother in Hidden Dragon Dojo, Mang Basang. He just has a few eccentric habits." At the same time, all kinds of details about the eldest senior brother entered Xue Jing's field of vision. The man stood over 2 meters tall, and just his presence alone carried overwhelming pressure. Xue Jing slowly walked over to the shattered window to take a look, only to discover in shock that this eldest senior brother, who apparently refused to use doors, had actually jumped all the way up from the first floor. Just how terrifying was that kind of strength? Fifth senior brother smiled and asked, "Eldest senior brother, what brings you here?" This eldest senior brother not only disliked using the front door, he apparently did not like speaking either. He simply gestured wildly like a mute. Strangely enough, fifth senior brother actually understood him. Then he turned to Xue Jing and said goodbye. "I've got something to deal with, so I'll head out first. Remember this. The essence of the hibernating dragon art lies in force control and shaping." After saying that, the eldest senior brother also nodded to him. The next second, just as Xue Jing was still pondering those words, the two of them jumped straight out of the building one after the other. Xue Jing sat down cross-legged and began circulating his inner force. "Lately, I've only been focusing on increasing the amount of chi," he thought to himself. "I've never really considered shaping it. Maybe I could try combining it with my aim ability." 3 hours later, a series of crackling sounds erupted all across Xue Jing's body, and every aspect of his physical ability suddenly rose by another level. At the same time, one patch of skin on his palm bulged outward, writhing beneath the surface like a mouse. Then, as he loosened his finger, a sharp burst of force shot out in an instant and exploded against the wall inside the room with a loud bang. Xue Jing was both shocked and delighted. This was way stronger than those pebbles he used to throw off the roadside. At that moment, Master Li Qi suddenly appeared and even began applauding him. I truly didn't expect this. Not only is your physical talent astonishing, but your aptitude for force control is equally remarkable. As he spoke, he took out a pill and handed it over. Eat it. Xuejing did not hesitate for a second and swallowed it whole. Master immediately began circulating a powerful aura and told Xuejing to look at him. Xuejing only glanced at his master once before freezing on the spot, feeling as though his consciousness had been torn away. When he regained his senses, he found himself standing inside a blank white realm. Then the phantom image of a half-dead dragon had appeared in the air above, circling endlessly. But after Xuejing exchanged only a calm glance with it, he discovered that layers of scales had already begun spreading across his arm, as though it had turned into a razor-sharp dragon claw. But just then, he suddenly felt the qi inside his body going wild in every direction. The pill is probably causing this, he immediately guessed. So he planted himself firmly and began circulating the hibernating dragon art, forcibly suppressing that chaotic qi. He had no idea how long he had held out, but Xuejing suddenly experienced a strange and wondrous sensation, as though every distracting thought had vanished completely. At that moment, his entire being was immersed in the feeling of becoming a dragon. When Xuejing finally opened his eyes again, his pupils had already turned golden, and he had also awakened a brand new skill, visualization. In a daze, he returned to reality. Why am I back? His master smiled and replied, if you hadn't come back when you did, your qi would have run dry. He cultivated dragon qi on his very first try. Little Jing, you really are amazing. Xuejing could not help growing curious. What exactly was dragon qi? His master explained, to put it bluntly, dragon qi is really just a kind of emotion. Think about it. When you're angry, don't you have much harder? And when you're fighting for your life, doesn't your whole body feel unusually powerful? In the hidden dragon style, the technique of stirring emotion is called moving qi, while the technique of controlling emotion is called still qi. If you can combine movement and stillness, you can become unstoppable. Xuejing only half understood. Then how am I supposed to train it? His master smiled in satisfaction. You've probably already grasped its essence. Don't rush to ask more. Think it through for yourself first. Recalling that state of complete focus from earlier, Xuejing suddenly felt enlightened. He suddenly realized that many of the things he had seen and learned in his previous life seemed to have reconnected in his mind. Even the math problems that used to torment him during exam prep now felt strangely simple. Then he pointed at his head and told his master that he seemed to have become smarter. His master said that this was only a very small part of it. Xuejing continued describing the feeling. Also, ordinary things can barely shake my emotions anymore, and my imagination has gotten stronger too. I can picture a giant dragon almost instantly now. Even a single strand of mane or one scale is crystal clear. Is that the essence of visualization? His master felt that talking alone was useless. Real combat was the only way to understand it. Qingjiao, spar with him. The fourth senior's sister swallowed the whole flatbread in one bite. Then she strode towards Xuejing. She was Meng Boshang's daughter and the most outstanding among the disciples when it came to controlling force. Xuejing could not help thinking that this fourth senior sister had one of the best figures he had ever seen. In the next instant, he stomped on the floor and shot toward her like an arrow released from a bow. But all Xuejing felt was a blur before his eyes. A soft force had already struck him in the chest. His master burst into laughter from his side. Your intentions are way too obvious, aren't they? Xuejing had not expected this woman to be even harder to deal with than his own cheat ability. The next moment, he charged again. But after only 2 moves, he was sent flying once more. And so it went. He kept challenging her, and she kept defeating him. With every exchange, Xuejing absorbed combat experience like a sponge, while his master pointed out each of his shortcomings. By the time he could finally last through 20 moves, 3 hours had already passed. In the end, after fighting the fourth senior sister to the point where both of them were getting tired, he finally found an opening. He gathered force into his right hand and drove a punch straight into her soft chest. The fourth senior sister was forced back by the heavy force, her feet carving long marks across the ground. Xuejing looked at his fist in confusion. The feeling from that last hit seemed like his master hurriedly stopped the fourth senior sister and made him stop as well. That's enough for today. Qingjiao is probably hungry too. There's no point continuing. Xuejing found it strange that the fourth senior sister had not said a single word. His master explained that something had happened to her when she was little. Her story can't be explained in a short while. I'll tell you another day when there's time. But first, tell me this. How did today feel? Was the training effective? Xuejing said that, From the day he was born until now, he had never been this tired. At the same time, watching the experience values on his panel surge upward, he was also deeply astonished. Ford's senior sister was terrifyingly strong. Just sparring with her for 4 hours had raised his experience this much. Looks like he really would need to stick close to her from now on. After leaving Hidden Dragon Dojo, he returned home and even brought Warner some fried chicken. But in the huge living room, there was not even a trace of the little black cat. It was only when he reached the bathroom that he heard the sound of running water inside. There was only one pair of shoes by the door, and Warner had not brought any guests home, so it had to be her inside. Had someone locked her in the bathroom? Warner had said she had enemies. With that thought, Xuejing pushed the door open without hesitation. What he saw, however, was simply the little black cat scrubbing herself in a bathtub. Even though she had turned into a cat, girls were apparently still sensitive about this sort of thing. But Xuejing merely held her paw and said, "Stop dawdling. The fried chicken's getting cold." The little glutton Warner forgot everything else the moment she heard there was fried chicken. And just like that, the scene turned into this. One human and one cat. One male and one female, bathing together in the tub. Warner's fondness for Xuejing rose sharply, and the experience for charm art shot upward. Soon, the divine relic on her tail emitted a blinding light. It was still just a furry little cat paw a second ago, but in the blink of an eye, it transformed into a slender, pale human hand. Xuejing stared in shock at the cat-eared woman before him, only for her to curl her cat tail around and block that exquisite view. "Vena, come down." I didn't see anything. Warner actually believed for a moment that he really had not seen anything. Xuejing shifted his body a little. "I'm not lying. No matter what, you should get up first, and then we can talk." Warner herself was also puzzled about how she had suddenly changed back to her original form. Xuejing explained that he might have accidentally triggered the transformation condition of the divine relic. Hearing that, Warner immediately recalled what had happened while she was bathing. She really had developed just a tiny bit of feeling toward him, only the tiniest bit, with fried chicken added on top of that. I could turn human again? What kind of ridiculous trigger condition is that? And these cat ears, these fangs, and this tail, just what kind of crappy legacy did that damn god leave behind? It turned her back into human form while still leaving her cat ears and tail intact. Xuejing urged her to get out quickly. "Well, I can still hold myself back. Or in a moment, you might not be able to leave at all." Warner's mouth twitched a few times, and then she bolted straight out of the bathroom, completely bare. An hour later, Xuejing finished bathing and came out to the living room, only to find that Warner had already turned back into a little black cat and was now sprawled on the sofa. Warner found the whole thing baffling. She had only calmed down for a moment, and she had turned back into a cat again. Now she could not turn human no matter what she tried. Xuejing sat down beside her, as usual, and was just about to reach out and pet her, when he discovered that she immediately sprang away. He sighed inwardly. It had to be because of what had just happened, so she did not want him touching her anymore. Then he mentioned that he had recently met someone who knew quite a lot about divine relics, and that he planned to ask them more about it tomorrow. Maybe that person could help Warner turn human again. Hearing that, Warner instantly pictured a scene. "Once I get my human form back, I'll ride on Xuejing's back, whipping him and forcing him to apologize." The image was so absurd that she could not stop herself from secretly laughing. The next morning, the moment Xuejing got out of bed, his panel popped up with an experience gain notification, and even his health preservation skill had risen to level 3. Warner, meanwhile, was still curled into a ball, half asleep. At that moment, his phone suddenly vibrated. When he opened it, he saw that it was a message from the rich boss lady, Wu Yuqing. Xuejing's spirits shot up at once. He had waited so long, and finally there was work. After changing clothes, he headed straight to the 7th floor of Qingshang Library. But after looking around, he still did not see Wu Yuqing. She had told him to hurry over, yet she herself was nowhere to be found. There was no one else here except a girl wearing glasses. He looked around again, and only then did he realize something was off. Wasn't that girl in glasses actually Wu Yuqing? Sure enough, the moment the girl took off her glasses, the whole impression she gave changed, and that familiar aura of Wu Yuqing resurfaced. "Your awareness is pretty sharp. You figured out I was here surprisingly fast." Xuejing felt that today's Wu Yuqing was somehow even more attractive than before. Wu Yuqing explained that the glasses in her hand were also a divine relic, God 1280, the ordinary glasses. They lowered the wearer's sense of presence so that people would not easily notice them. Xuejing took the glasses, simultaneously drawing divinity from them, and asked, "Is that all they do?" Wu Yuqing said there was more. Once the glasses were removed, the presence they had been suppressing would erupt all at once. The longer they were worn, the more dazzling the wearer would seem when they were taken off. Only then did Xue Jing realize that Wu Yuqing had not suddenly become prettier. It was the effect of the glasses. He then asked what exactly she had summoned him here for. Wu Yuqing answered, "Take a look at this first. This mission is special. It's a C-rank containment task. Strictly speaking, it should not have been assigned to you, but this divine relic, number 1105, the crown of the wicked woman, continuously amplifies the wearer's most primitive desires. Its current wearer is a woman named Lu Huying. The moment she sees a handsome man, she cannot stop herself from wanting to possess him." Xue Jing immediately caught on. "So you had me put on those glasses first for this exact reason, didn't you?" Wu Yuqing nodded. "You already have a strong foundation. As long as you wear those glasses beforehand, then the moment you take them off, Lu Huying's desire will flare out of control. At that point, it will be easy to remove the crown of the wicked woman and restore her to normal. This containment mission is practically tailor-made for you." Xue Jing looked speechless. So after all that, he was basically being asked to sell his looks. Still, the mission did suit him perfectly. Not only would he get to come into contact with 2 divine relics in one go, he could also grow stronger while keeping a low profile. And besides, the aura of those glasses suited him surprisingly well. If he wore them for 10 years and then took them off, would his face value basically ascend into the heavens forever after? At that thought, Xue Jing quickly asked whether the glasses were Wu Yuqing's personal item. Wu Yuqing replied that she had borrowed them from another containment company. Xue Jing was surprised. There were other containment companies too? Wu Yuqing paused. "What? Did I never mention that?" Xue Jing had originally thought his own company was mysterious and elite, like the only one of its kind in the whole country. Wu Yuqing explained that he had misunderstood. Divine relic containment companies were indeed special, but if she had to put it simply, they were not fundamentally different from street cleaners. Xue Jing's glamorous image of the company shattered on the spot. That comparison is way too bleak. Wu Yuqing continued, "There are already thousands of known divine relics in this world. They can appear anywhere at any time. One containment company alone could never handle them all, and the work itself is dangerous. It's not something just anyone can do." Xue Jing pressed on. "Then are we in a cooperative relationship with other containment companies?" Wu Yuqing said, "Not necessarily. Containment work is basically outsourced to us by the state, but some companies will do anything for the money. If you run into people from other companies in the future, you'd better stay cautious." The man merely removed the seemingly ordinary glasses, and unexpectedly, his face seemed to burst into dazzling brilliance. So much so that even Wu Yuqing's cheeks showed a faint, almost imperceptible flush. Looking at the panel notification saying that someone had developed favorable feelings toward him, Xue Jing smiled silently. So the glasses lowered one's presence while worn, but the longer they were worn, the more irresistible one became after taking them off. And Xue Jing's mission this time was to sacrifice a bit of his beauty and seize the chance to remove the crown from the target's head. Lu Huying's usual haunts were mostly in the South District: bars, clubs, host clubs, and KTVs. Xue Jing silently complained that her activity range was basically the textbook template for an underworld queen bee. According to the file, Lu Huying had already used the physical enhancements granted by the crown of the wicked woman to carve out territory for herself and establish a small gang called the Rose Gang. She had been throwing her weight around every day and had already ruined plenty of men. At the same time, the crown of the wicked woman kept intensifying her desires. The stronger her desire grew, the more drastically her physical abilities were boosted. If no one stopped her, the crown's effects would keep stacking endlessly. As long as the crown of the wicked woman was removed, she could be restored to normal. Afterward, Xue Jing followed the address to Lianming Street in the South District. By chance, he arrived just in time to see a thug getting beaten until he coughed up blood. Meanwhile, Lu Huying stood there holding a metal baseball bat and laughing loudly. "This feeling of doing whatever I want is amazing. I can do anything I please. Anyone who dares interfere gets beaten." Hearing that, Xue Jing's mouth twitched. That old woman is way too Chuyuni. At that moment, the restaurant owner was bowing and scraping before Lu Huying, smiling obsequiously as he said, "Take care, Sister Lu." But Lu Huying had no intention of leaving. "Where are your 2 sons? Why haven't I seen them today?" The owner instantly understood what she meant and forced a smile. "Which one do you want? I'll go call them right now." Lu Huying leaned closer, the corners of her mouth stretching into an exaggerated curve. "Obviously, I'm taking both." Xue Jing saw the scene too, and a chill immediately ran down his spine. "If I'm supposed to seduce this old hag, I'd rather just die." At the same time, more than a dozen gang members strode over from outside the street with threatening momentum. Leading them was a middle-aged man called Brother Duan. Xue Jing took one look and knew that enemies had come looking for revenge. It was better to hide first and watch what happened. Duan Kaiping, the leader of the Razor Gang, had already pushed into the Rose Gang's territory. Lu Huiying, I hear you've been acting real arrogant lately. But Lu Huiying merely shot Duan Kaiping a disdainful glance. And who the hell are you? Then a group of Rose Gang lackeys stepped forward to complain. Sister Lu, he's Duan Kaiping from the Razor Gang. He's the one who beat us into this state. Hearing that, Lu Huiying walked up and sized Duan Kaiping up. Not bad. You've actually got a pretty good body. How about you come play with Big Sis for a while? The moment Duan Kaiping heard that, his anger shot straight to the ceiling. He wanted nothing more than to smash that old woman into pulp on the spot. But Lu Huiying's footwork was actually pretty good. And for the moment, Duan Kaiping really could not do much to her. From what Duan Kaiping said, Xue Jing also pieced together that this place had originally belonged to the Razor Gang, but later Lu Huiying's Rose Gang had seized it, and that was how the feud had started. As soon as Duan Kaiping saw that he could not handle the old woman by himself, he immediately called for the brothers behind him to join in. Soon after, the two gangs started brawling fiercely on Lianming Street, but the handsome men of the Rose Gang quickly began to lose ground. That old woman looked vicious enough already, but the moment she saw her toys being wrecked, she finally exploded. You filthy Razor Gang bastards, how dare you ruin my fun? Duan Kaiping even seemed a little excited. So, you old hag, you're finally getting serious? Then the two of them became blurs darting across the street. Dust billowed everywhere, and all anyone could hear were a string of explosive impacts. Duan Kaiping used his palms like blades, sharp enough to cut through metal. But Lu Huiying suffered little more than torn skin. Xue Jing could tell that in terms of pure combat strength, Duan Kaiping far surpassed Lu Huiying, but she was simply too tanky to bring down. But just then, Lu Huiying managed to smash her metal baseball bat into Duan Kaiping's abdomen. At the same time, Xue Jing finished draining the divinity from the glasses. For this round of enhancement, he chose to reinforce his physical strength to pair with the speed he had gained earlier. Then he activated aim. In the next second, he flicked a small stone at Duan Kaiping. With the combined boost of power and speed, the pebble instantly shattered Duan Kaiping's lower leg. His opponent was crippled in an instant, and even Lu Huiying was stunned for a moment. Although Duan Kaiping was furious and unwilling to accept it, he could no longer stand, and could only flee Lianming Street in disgrace while his men hauled him away. Lu Huiying spat out a mouthful of bloody saliva in contempt. Bastard, you actually hit pretty hard. Only after the Razor Gang had left did Xue Jing finally step out at an unhurried pace. Lu Huiying looked at the plain-looking young man and asked, "Kid, you got a gun on you, right?" Xue Jing stopped and replied calmly, "You could say that, but I won't be using it on you." What he was thinking, however, was that Lu Huiying fought with no real structure at all. One look was enough to tell she had never had proper training. If that was the case, then he might as well try taking her down head-on without selling his looks. And if that failed, he could always remove the glasses midway and heart control her. Xue Jing took a deep breath and began circulating the breathing method. In an instant, force surged through his body, his blood sped up, his body temperature rose, and a faint trace of dragon chi began to spread from him. Lu Huiying frowned at once, sensing that something was wrong. "Who are you?" Xue Jing thought for a moment, then answered with a teasing smile, "You can call me Set." The instant those words left his mouth, he activated Twin Soul. In the next moment, his whole body seemed to have been put on fast forward as he rushed at Lu Huiying. Lu Huiying's alertness was seriously lacking, and Xue Jing's sweeping kick smashed in her waist, sending her flying more than 3 meters before she crashed hard into a concrete wall. But the next second, a fist completely filled her field of vision. Its force, wrapped in wind pressure and condensed power, slammed viciously into her face. Once Xue Jing seized the initiative, he immediately pressed the advantage, raining punches down on her face with both fists, left and right, without the slightest mercy. But after only a short while, the pain in his own hands forced him to stop. The other Rose Gang lackeys did not dare rush in recklessly either. Who the hell is that guy? He smashed the wall apart. Did Sister Lu get smashed too? Even Duan Kaiping got beaten down by Sister Lu, and this guy's actually dominating her? Meanwhile, Lu Huiying crawled back out of the rubble, with only a few wounds on her body. The crown of the wicked woman on her head kept releasing sinister power, further driving her strength upward. "You've really pissed me off now. I'm going to smash you into meat paste." With that, She swung the metal baseball bat wildly at Xuejing, but Xuejing sidestepped in a flash and followed with a sudden strike that landed squarely on her face, leaving it instantly bloodied and mangled. What Xuejing did not realize was that Lu Huiying had actually taken that hit on purpose so she could grab him. But by then, Xuejing had already activated aim, condensing force at his fingertips and detonating it in an instant, striking Lu Huiying directly in the eye. No matter how tough her body was, she simply could not withstand that. She lost her combat ability on the spot, and Xuejing was merely following his master's teaching. Call it despicable, call it vicious, but if it lets you win, then any move is fair game. The one left standing at the end is the only one with the right to speak. Thinking that, Xuejing did not hesitate for even a moment and kicked straight at Lu Huiying's groin, making her fold up instantly like a cooked shrimp as she clutched herself and trembled in agony. With no hesitation at all, Xuejing strode up to her, clasped both hands together, and raised them high overhead. In the next instant, force surged through him, and he brought that blow crashing down toward the back of Lu Huiying's head. The impact was devastating. Her entire face was driven deep into the concrete ground, and cracks more than a meter across spread out around her. The black crown on Lu Huiying's head fell off and rolled to one side. Everyone watching at the scene fell silent, thoroughly shaken by the ruthless ferocity of the young man. Xuejing, however, did not care about anyone else's gaze. He merely crouched down, picked up the crown of the wicked woman, and the instant his hand touched the divine relic, he began absorbing its divinity. Then Xuejing pulled out his phone and snapped a picture of the black crown, before sending it to Wu Yuqing along with 4 simple words: containment successful. Afterward, Xuejing glanced down at Lu Huiying on the ground and thought, "Don't actually suffocate to death on me. As for the punishment for all the evil things you did after putting on the crown of the wicked woman, I'll leave that to the residents you victimized these past days." With that, he kicked Lu Huiying and turned her over. On the other side, Xuejing suddenly noticed that he was absorbing divinity much faster than before. Just as he was about to leave, a man's low voice suddenly came from behind him. "Hey kid, hand over what you're holding. That's not something you're qualified to touch." There was no way Xuejing would let himself be interrupted at a moment like this. What if I say no? The man's dark red artificial eye immediately began analyzing the data in front of him. He looks no older than 16 or 17, lives in a backwater like the Outer Ring, and yet has a threat evaluation above 2. The results surprised the man a little, but in his eyes, that level was still far too weak. He walked up to Xuejing at an unhurried pace. "Kid, I'm giving you one last chance." But Xuejing did not waste any words and immediately went for another crotch strike. To his surprise, the other man's lower body was as hard as machinery. The man sneered, "Despicable martial artist. Using dirty tricks like that all the time. How could I possibly not guard against it?" With the attack failing, Xuejing turned and ran. Who the hell normally guards against that move? Are you some kind of freak? The man instantly gave chase. "Stop right there. I'm going to kill you." The more Xuejing fought, the stranger that man's body felt to him. Is this guy an agent from another containment company? His body is hard like it was assembled from machine parts. He can even smash through a 10 centimeters concrete wall with ease. In the next instant, the force of the man's punch slammed into Xuejing's arm, still sending him flying dozens of meters and smashing through the walls of several houses along the way. Buried under rubble, Xuejing coughed violently, feeling that no matter how he ran, he just could not escape. But at that exact moment, a system prompt suddenly appeared. Divinity extraction complete. Activate divinity skill, Shadow Flame. Xuejing did not hesitate and chose to activate it immediately. At the same time, the mysterious man was still walking unhurriedly toward the place where Xuejing had been buried. But the instant he drew near, Xuejing's hand suddenly shot out and clamped tightly over his mouth. Terrified, the man blurted out 3 words, "One of the blessed." At that moment, Xuejing's entire body was already wrapped in black flames. "One of the blessed? Are you talking about me?" The man hurriedly wrenched himself free from Xuejing's grip. "If not you, then who else?" The next moment, Xuejing slowly rose from the rubble, while the surrounding stones were blasted away by the aura pouring off his body. Curiosity immediately stirred in Xuejing's mind. What exactly is a blessed one? Why did he instantly connect me to that the moment he saw the black flames? What's the relationship between the two? By the time he came back to himself, he realized the man was already trying to slip away. With a single thought from Xuejing, countless black flames drifted after the man like floating fire motes. Then they burrowed madly into his body, invading his internal organs. Not long after that, the man completely lost all signs of life and collapsed to the ground with a thud. But after using Shadow Flame for the first time, Xuejing was suddenly hit with a powerful urge to vomit. Afterward, his panel flooded with notifications saying defeated a stronger opponent, large amount of experience gained, and the levels of his various skills rose as well. He crouched down and carefully examined the corpse. Only then did he realize that almost all of the man's body was covered in artificial skin and that the material was extremely tough. Even after burning that long, Shadow Flame had only left a faint mark on the surface. If the damage had not been done from the inside, it probably would have been very hard to kill him. Then he picked up a nearby stone and discovered that its surface showed no sign of carbonization at all. Even after burning for that long, it still felt cool to the touch. So the damage Shadow Flame dealt probably depended on the target's own toughness. Clearly, this black fire did not possess the normal properties of fire. The panel stated it plainly. These black flames were converted from shadows. Now that there were fewer shadows around, the flames had weakened as well. In other words, the larger the surrounding area covered by shadows, the more Shadow Flame could be produced and the stronger it would become. Before long, the black flames wrapped around his body suddenly vanished completely. Xuejing lowered his eyes to the panel and saw that the golden glow around the word Shadow Flame had dimmed, showing that it had entered cooldown. He let out a sigh and took a photo with his phone to send to Wu Yuqing. After all, he had just killed someone. He needed to report the situation first. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the South District, an old man stood before a heap of nauseating flesh tumors. As he stroked the fleshy lumps, he spoke calmly. "Ping Ping, do you know why I called you here?" Duan Kaiping knelt on the ground, pale with fear, and begged for forgiveness. "I know, you warned me again and again not to cause trouble recently, and yet I still..." But before he could finish speaking, the old man's figure suddenly flickered and vanished. In the next instant, he had already appeared before Duan Kaiping, his 5 fingers gripping the man's skull. "You knew that already, so why did you still do it? Are you tired of living?" Duan Kaiping did not dare act out and desperately kowtowed while begging for forgiveness. "Master, I was wrong. Please forgive me." "Fine, get up. Any news about the 2 we sent out earlier?" Duan Kaiping hurriedly answered. It seems they were already eliminated." "With it all White Crow's doing?" Duan Kaiping answered honestly, "No. I heard one of them was injured by a young man." The moment the old man heard the word young man, his expression twisted viciously. Duan Kaiping continued, "I heard that boy is called Xuejing. His background doesn't seem special at all. He's just an ordinary person." That only made the old man angrier. How could an ordinary person possibly defeat them? These test subjects may be imperfect, but they are still not something ordinary people are allowed to stain. "Go, bring him back to me, and I will personally feed him to the great heavenly lodestar insect mother. That way, it will give birth to more and better offspring. One day, this planet will belong to me." On the other side, Xuejing returned to Qingchang Library. All along the way, he kept thinking about how badly he had messed things up during the mission and wondering how Wu Yuqing would deal with it. Forget it. Thinking about it won't help. I'll deal with whatever comes. At worst, I'll just make up for it later with merit. But the instant the elevator doors opened on the 7th floor, Xuejing saw Wu Yuqing slightly bowing to him in apology. "I'm very sorry. I didn't expect an accident like this to happen and let you face that danger alone. That was a serious failure on my part. I will raise this mission's rating to C+, and I'll also give you extra compensation. I hope you can accept it." Xuejing said he had no problem with that. Still, Wu Yuqing's reaction was completely different from what he had imagined. Wu Yuqing continued, "We've already confirmed the identity of the man you killed. His name was Zhu Yingquan. He was a C-rank containment officer under Su Containment Company. I've already contacted them, and they said his actions were personal and had nothing to do with the company." Xuejing found that hard to understand. Why would a man want the crown of the wicked woman? Wu Yuqing immediately pushed a map toward him. "That's exactly what worries me too. Su Containment Company is based in the inner ring. Logically, it makes no sense for them to send just one man all the way out to the outer ring for this kind of job. On the surface, their explanation doesn't seem to have any holes. So there may be something else going on behind this. Leave it to me. For now, don't get too deeply involved." Xuejing nodded to show he understood. "Right, I almost forgot to give you this crown. And should I return the glasses to you now?" Wu Yuqing waved her hand, signaling him to keep the glasses for the time being. They might come in handy on the next mission too. Also, Zhu Yingquan's autopsy report was strange. All of his internal organs vanished without a trace. How did you do that? Xuejing himself still had not fully figured out how Shadow Flame worked. He only felt that the thing was too dangerous, so it was safer to keep quiet for now. Then he took off the glasses, revealing his handsome face, and said softly, can I not talk about that? My dear big sister? Wu Youqing's face instantly turned red like it was on fire. Then don't say it. Everyone has their own secrets. Put the glasses back on first. Xue Jing brought the conversation back to business and took out the card Wu Youqing had just given him. What is this? Wu Youqing answered, it's a containment pass. With it, a lot of things will be much more convenient when you carry out containment missions in the future. Xue Jing's eyes lit up. So, what does that mean I count as official personnel now? Wu Youqing snapped her fingers. The bookshelves behind her immediately shifted aside, opening a passageway. Aside from some of the conveniences that come with official organizations, the materials stored in this library will also be open to you. I still have work to deal with. Go in and take your time looking around. Xue Jing immediately grew excited. Maybe he could finally find clues about the cattail ring inside. Then he followed the entrance into the archive room, only to find that it was unexpectedly vast inside. Files on divine relics were divided into 3 tiers and neatly stored in rows of boxes. Xue Jing casually pulled out file number 18, titled The Death Goddess's Unreasonable Favor. But when he used the containment pass to scan it, the system voice announced, insufficient authorization. Access denied. He figured maybe the number was too low, so he tried another one, file number 69, Cinderella Boy, but it still returned, insufficient authorization. Access denied. So he kept scanning one after another, starting from file number 200 all the way to 666, and every single one still said the same thing, insufficient authorization. Access denied. Xue Jing was instantly speechless. What the hell? Didn't you say everything here would be open to me? Isn't this still just a permissions problem? Don't tell me even the cattail ring is locked behind permissions. Forget it. I'll find it first and worry later. After searching for a while, he finally found file number 1391, cattail ring. Then he lightly touched the dynamic lock with the containment pass, and the cattail ring file opened smoothly. The danger rating of this divine relic is B. This exceeds the access level of C-rank containment officer Xue Jing. Therefore, only the first 2 layers of the file will be opened. Xue Jing stared in disbelief. Isn't this thing only supposed to turn people into a harmless little cat? Why is it ranked the same as a relic that can wipe out an entire street? Xue Jing opened the file and found that after wearing it for 1 month, the holder could freely switch between human and cat form. Then, on another page, he saw that a certain doctor had let out a fanatical cry after seeing the cattail ring, and even went on to found a monotheistic cult. Xue Jing kept flipping through the pages, wanting to see what this monotheistic cult was really about. As it turned out, after the gods died, the earth cracked apart, and fissures appeared throughout the major borderlands. As people explored those fissures more deeply, they discovered tools capable of communicating with outer gods. Those who gathered out of a thirst for power and prayed to outer gods for strength became what were known as monotheistic cults, while the ones who received gifts from those gods were called blessed ones. Xue Jing's worldview took quite a hit. So that was what blessed ones really meant. He hurriedly flipped further down the file. 200 years ago, a monotheistic cult called the Lion Saint Church once longed to establish contact with the goddess Batet, but the goddess never responded. That only changed when one believer obtained God. After turning into a cat, he finally received the goddess's blessing. However, the one that received the blessing was not that believer, but God. 1391 Cattail Ring. From that point on, the cattail ring gained even more mysterious power. As the fusion deepened, the wearer would gradually begin to wield Bastet's power, until eventually becoming the true Batet. That was why the Lion Saint Church would stop at nothing to kill the current holder of the cattail ring and take it back. In other words, they were going to kill Wanner. So that was why Wanner had pushed Xue Jing so hard to train at the dojo back then. If he failed to grow stronger in a short time, then what awaited the two of them would be assassination. Xue Jing kept reading and found the fusion conditions for the cattail ring. The first fusion required an intense, emotional trigger. After that, the wearer had to keep provoking that same emotion again and again in order to deepen the fusion further. He recalled that it had happened because he and Wanner had been sharing a bath. That was when she reverted to that half-human form, growing cat ears, a cat tail, and sharp fangs. Xue Jing forcefully cut off his own train of thought. Visualization could produce even more lifelike images, but if turning human really required the same thing as last time, then that meant Wanner and I would have to keep doing that regularly. But how am I supposed to explain that transformation condition to Wanner? Xue Jing kept turning the pages. Thankfully, this divine relic did not have any side effects. But this was already the last page of the file. What powers did Batet actually have? And once it was worn, how was it supposed to be taken off? None of those crucial questions had answers. A C-rank containment officer's clearance was far too limited. At the same time, Xue Jing received a text message on his phone. Qingcheng Bank had transferred 230,000 into his account, which was obviously the compensation from Wu Yuqing. Xue Jing had not expected it to be that much. From now on, he would not have to carefully budget every meal anymore. That also meant he would have more time to train. Tonight, I'll buy some expensive ingredients and cook Wanner a proper meal. As for the condition for turning human, I'll find a chance to tell her later. And so, over the next 5 days, Xue Jing and Wanner feasted every day, alternating between lobster and king crab. Wanner started getting curious too. Why had you been spending so extravagantly lately? Did you make some money? Xue Jing's expression turned a little ugly. You could say, I used to be rich. These past few days, I've been learning a technique from master called shaking armor art. The technique itself isn't the problem, but you have to take medicine while training, and after each session, you still need a medicinal bath. One full round costs 40 to 50,000. So after doing 5 full rounds over the past few days, I burned through the entire 200,000. Wanner did the math and said, then there should still be more than 30,000 left, right? Why is there only this little? Speechless, Xue Jing pointed at the luxurious spread of delicacies on the table. Wanner instantly understood what he meant. She coughed lightly and said, while your devotion to this cult leader is certainly praiseworthy, I still have to warn you, money needs to be spent carefully. Besides the medicines you just mentioned, you'll also need to buy weapons and hidden weapons later on. And on top of that, formal outfits for high-end occasions are absolutely necessary too. A single one can easily start at over 100,000. As for luxury ingredients like these, eating them once or twice a month is more than enough. Xue Jing had not expected there to be so many more places where money would disappear, and payday was still far off. In the short term, Wu Yuqing probably would not be assigning him any more work either. If he did not find a way to make some money soon, he was probably going to be living on air again. He scrolled through the wage slave app, but the pay listed there was way too low. In the end, he could only ask his senior brother about part-time work. As it happened, Chen Fu Wang had something for him to do and told him to come to Hidden Dragon Dojo tomorrow, where he could also test Xue Jing's current strength. But during the few minutes Xue Jing spent looking for work, Wanner had already finished everything on the table that could be eaten, leaving not a single bite behind for him. The next day, Xue Jing returned to Hidden Dragon Dojo to train, just like usual. In only 5 days, he had already mastered shaking armor art to an extraordinary level, and along the way, he had even unlocked a new skill, soft force. Chen Fu Wang was very pleased with this. In his opinion, Xue Jing's talent was probably the highest of anyone he had ever seen so far. At that moment, a junior sister came over and asked, Senior brother, we're doing a strength test over there. Could you come show everyone a few moves? Xue Jing had originally wanted to refuse, but Chen Fu Wang flashed right over to his side and said, go on. It's a good chance to test the results of your training and let everyone broaden their horizons too. Xue Jing loosened his finger joints, then walked toward the punching bag. All right, then I'll just give it a casual try. A few junior brothers who had joined earlier than Xue Jing thought he was not the type who specialized in raw strength, so they warned him not to force it and damage his hand, only to turn around and blame them later. Xue Jing slowly threw a punch at the punching bag. His movement was utterly silent and looked almost completely lacking in force. The sight nearly made the junior brothers burst out laughing. That quiet? Don't tell me he's holding back on purpose and not using his full strength. But in the very next second, the punching bag exploded on the spot. And even the strength testing machine flashed a bizarre, a normal person could only score a little above, and this was merely the upper limit of the machine, not the true limit of the force itself. Every junior brother present broke out in cold sweat. None of them could tell what kind of move that had been. Xue Jing smiled pleasantly and explained it for them. This is soft force. Strength isn't always better just because it's greater. What I used just now is called soft force. It's an advanced application of force. First, you compress all the power into a single point, send into the target's body, and then let it erupt from inside. If you want, you can try to comprehend it yourselves. The junior sister instantly blushed like she had just seen her idol. Thank you very much for your guidance, senior brother. Xue Jing casually called over one of the junior brothers. Could you do me a favor and grab a strike pad from the storage room to put over the tester? Afterward, Chen Fu Wang handed Xue Jing a photograph. With this level of skill, junior brother, I'm not worried anymore. Recently, a big shot has been looking for a bodyguard. Want to get a try? Written on the back of the photograph was the big shot's full address, and the reward for the job was as high as 800. Xue Jing's eyes practically filled with money signs. He answered in a serious tone, "Please, you absolutely have to let me take this job." A few days later, Jing arrived at Ruiju Hotel wearing a black linen martial outfit in a Republican-era style. His outfit was plain and simple, so he should not have stood out that much, but his looks and presence were simply too striking, and he drew plenty of attention along the way. Back then, Jing had still been struggling over what kind of formal wear he should wear to the banquet. Zhu Shaniying had brought out a dazzling wine-red suit, and one look was enough to tell it was made from top-tier material. Thankfully, Jing thought the outfit was far too flashy. He was not here to go on a blind date. After all, in the end, he chose a martial outfit recommended by Qingjiao, and it suited a martial artist's temperament perfectly. When it came to taste, Senior Sister Meng really did outclass Senior Sister Zhu. Nearly every girl at the banquet started swooning. "He's seriously so handsome. Should I go ask for his number?" The two burly men behind them recognized all 6 core disciples of Hidden Dragon Dojo. They had even seen the youngest one, Zhu Shaniying, but Jing was the one face they did not recognize. Zhang Daqing joked, "What? Are they not allowed to take in a new disciple?" Li Xiaoquan curled his lip and said, "That's not what I mean. Dragon King Li Qi said long ago that he would take 7 disciples, but the 7th had to be a prodigy blessed with both talent and natural gifts. Otherwise, he would rather not take one at all. This kid looks like some pretty boy. Sure, his face is decent, but how strong could he really be? No way he's one of Li Qi's top disciples." Zhang Daqing patted him on the shoulder and said, "You really shouldn't judge people by their appearance. Look at his stance. Every step he takes is the exact same distance, not an inch more or less, and even his upper body barely sways. His body control is obviously exceptional, and his force handling is already well honed." Li Xiaoquan still looked unconvinced. So what? Even if he can make 1 part force produce 10 parts effect, he'd still lose against 100 people. Zhang Daqing rolled his eyes. Then he turned and walked away without hesitation. "I've got nothing to say to a lump of meat like you." Meanwhile, the hotel manager was speaking with Jing. "Excuse me, are you the martial artist here to handle security?" Jing smiled and nodded. "That's right. Hidden Dragon Dojo. Jing. Pleasure to meet you." The manager quickly opened a map. Pleasure. Let me first go over the details of the job with you. We hired 6 masters this time, and each one is responsible for a different area. Mr. Shui, you'll be covering the stage section. The lighting there is not very good, so please pay extra attention. Jing told him not to worry. There are so many martial artists here. Surely nobody would dare commit a crime in a place like this, right? But the manager still looked a little tense. That's hard to say. Anyway, it's always better to call in more people just in case. I won't keep talking. I need to get back to work. The moment the manager left, Jing's expression turned serious. Calling in more people was not the problem, but bringing in 6 martial artists at once definitely was. And that was not all. The hotel had also hired a large number of bodyguards, and judging from their equipment, they were clearly professionals. On top of that, the number of surveillance cameras here far exceeded what a normal hotel would usually have. Something unusual was definitely going on. What exactly was happening here that warranted such a huge display? Just then, Li Xiaoquan swaggered over. "You're the new core disciple Hidden Dragon Dojo, took in?" Jing turned to look at the heavily built man, and a question mark slowly rose in his mind. When Jing said nothing, Li Xiaoquan assumed he had been intimidated. "I'm Li Xiaoquan from Amber Dojo. Relax. I'm not here to cause trouble. But since we're colleagues, it's not too much to get a feel for each other's level first, right?" Jing showed no expression at all and simply asked calmly, "What exactly do you want?" Li Xiaoquan rolled his sleeves up to his elbows, revealing muscles as hard as iron. "Come on, let's test each other." Jing agreed without hesitation, guessing that the man simply did not trust his strength because he looked young. Fair enough. He also wanted to know exactly where he stood now. But the little test between the two of them still caught Pei Youguang's attention. "It's Jingji. What's he doing here?" The wealthy woman nearby noticed it too and asked second young master Pei, "Do you know that handsome guy? Who do you think will win?" Just then, Pei Youguang's older brother, Pei Tianqing, walked over. "I'm voting for the young man." The woman laughed. "But Li Xiaoquan is really strong. Last time second young master Pei tested hand with him, he got squeezed until he yelped." Pei Youguang's face turned red at once, thinking, way to hit exactly where it hurts. Another young girl said in surprise, "There's no movement at all on the handsome guy's side. Is he about to lose?" Pei Tianqing smiled. "It's not that there's no movement. Ordinary people just can't see it. That young man may look frail, but his body has been tempered countless times and is already hard as steel. His chi is clean and pure. Someone like Li Xiaoquan can't match him." Guang, once this match is over, introduce that young hero to me. Pei Guang was a little stunned and answered, yes, but inwardly he was thinking, how long has it even been? Jingji actually got this strong already? No way. The man merely used a little too much force during the handshake. And just like that, he crushed the burly man's bones on the spot. Li Xiaoquan slowly pulled back his limp hand, enduring the pain of broken bones as if nothing had happened at all. Little brother, you're really something. No wonder you're one of Hidden Dragon Dojo's top disciples. I'm impressed, but I suddenly need to use the bathroom, so I'll head there first. We can have tea together another time. But once he left the banquet hall and reached a deserted spot, his face immediately twisted in pain, and he burst into tears while staring at his broken hand. Damn, this hurts like hell. What the hell kind of monster is that brat? On the other side, Xuejing was puzzled. Is he really fine? I clearly heard the sound of bones breaking. Just then, Pei Guang hurried over to greet him. Jingji, long time no see. Only then did Xuejing realize that Pei Guang really was a rich young master after all. He had honestly thought the guy was bluffing before. Pei Guang admitted that he was the child of his father and a mistress, and that if his eldest brother hadn't favored him, he never would have lived this comfortably. Xuejing had no interest in his family affairs, so he asked, so what exactly do you want from me? Pei Guang answered honestly, you were seriously amazing just now when you exchanged moves with Li Xiaoquan. My big brother said he wants to get to know you. He's really strong too. He's a genius who got into Inner Ring University through the martial exam. And there are also some young ladies and rich wives who want to meet you too. Won't it be a good time for you? Xuejing said, today definitely won't work. I still have work to do later. If they just want to meet me, I've got no problem with that. But if those ladies really want to be friends with me, then they should come find me themselves. If you want something, you should fight for it yourself instead of waiting for someone to hand it to you. I still have work, so I'm leaving first. Watching Xuejing walk away, Pei Guang couldn't help sighing in admiration. Jingji is so handsome. A few minutes later, a huge wave of young women seemed to lose their minds and rush towards Xuejing. The handsome guy was right. If you want something, you've got to go after it yourself. Just as all the women were clamoring to add Xuejing's contact info, a man pushing a cart passed by, immediately drawing Xuejing's attention. The manager never told me anyone would be bringing something inside. But just as he was about to follow the man, one of the women grabbed him. Add your big sister too. I can tell you all kinds of things. To get rid of her as fast as possible, Xuejing pulled out his phone and asked, what's your number? At the same time, the man with the cart pressed a remote. The device installed in the corner was triggered immediately. Xuejing's phone suddenly began crackling with static. He even thought his phone was leaking electricity. But the next second, the entire hall lost all light and plunged into darkness. At once, the guests panicked and kept trying to turn on their phone flashlights, but none of them worked. What's going on? Did our phones die? Xuejing calmly analyzed the situation. In darkness this deep, not a single one of the dozens of people present could use their phones for light, which clearly meant every phone had stopped functioning. And with all the lights out as well, it was obvious that every device related to electricity had malfunctioned. An electromagnetic pulse is a high-tech method that can instantly disable electronic devices. But why would the enemy use something like that? If it was only to kill one person, wasn't that overkill? Just then, the glass windows on one side of the hall suddenly shattered with a loud crash. The woman beside him was so frightened that she slammed straight into Xuejing's arms. The guests in the hall instinctively huddled together. What was that sound just now? Was it glass breaking? Wait, where's old Wang? He was right next to me a second ago. Pei Guang flicked on a lighter, finally creating a small source of light in the pitch-black hall. Pei Tianqing clapped his hands and shouted, don't move around. Everyone group up back to back. But just as everyone was slowly moving inward, someone suddenly let out a scream and collapsed to the floor. When Pei Guang turned around, all he saw was a pool of blood on the ground. Even the corpse had vanished without a trace. Seeing that, everyone completely lost it and started running around in every direction, turning the scene into total chaos. Pei Tianqing struggled to maintain order and shouted, everyone stay together. Don't run around. But the moment the words left his mouth, he felt something slice across his cheek. He touched his face and found that he was bleeding heavily. Then he heard the sound of chairs and tables ahead being knocked aside by something. Pei Tianqing threw a punch straight toward the source of the sound. But to his shock, that black figure was unbelievably fast. Instead, it charged toward Pei Tianqing at terrifying speed. Luckily, Pei Guang lunged over just in time and saved his brother's life. But the guest behind them wasn't so lucky. The upper half of that person's body was torn away. The monster was pitch black all over and looked close to 2 meters tall. It resembled some grotesque aberration, as if a cockroach and a human had been fused together into one creature. The two brothers instantly broke out in cold sweat and shouted in perfect unison, "Run!" But the cockroach man attacked again, and by then, it was obviously too late to escape. Right then, Jing suddenly appeared and sent the cockroach man flying with a kick. The cockroach man slammed heavily into the wall, shattering the surrounding stonework as green blood sprayed from its mouthparts. Jing was a little surprised. So it's this kind of monster again. Looks like all the effort I put in lately wasn't for nothing, or there's no way I could have knocked it away that easily. At that moment, one of the guests asked where the other bodyguards had gone, and someone answered, "They fucking ran off a long time ago." Pei Yowang walked over shakily and said, "Jingji, thank you for saving me and my big brother." But Jing stopped him. "Don't come any closer. That thing isn't dead yet." Sure enough, the cockroach man suddenly burst into motion again, charging at Jing like a flash of lightning. Jing shifted slightly to the side and somehow dodged the cockroach man's charging headbutt with perfect precision. Then, in the instant they crossed paths, he struck back with a reverse punch and hit the airborne cockroach man. A violent boom rang out, and the cockroach man was sent flying more than 10 meters away, once again in an utterly pathetic state. At the same time, black flames ignited within Jing's pupils. "Beast, you're not the only one who can move freely in the dark." At that moment, a hidden kind of dark vision appeared in Jing's field of view. Aside from everything being reduced to black and white, it was almost no different from broad daylight. Under the faint light, the clash between the two came one after another like a raging storm. Li Xiaoquan was dumbfounded on the spot. Jing was actually fighting that monster to a standstill, but Pei Tiancheng kept shaking his head. On the surface, it looks like he's dodging at exactly the right moments. But if you look carefully, you'll see he hasn't taken a single step back. He's protecting us. Hearing that, Li Xiaoquan led everyone toward the emergency exit. "Let's go. Staying here will only distract Jing." Once he saw that everyone had left, Jing could finally let loose. "You look like you were having fun just now. Fine, I'll play with you properly next." But right then, the four huge thin wings on the cockroach man's back suddenly spread open and began beating wildly in the air. Its massive body actually made a subtle turn even while moving at high speed, slamming straight towards Jing with perfect accuracy. Jing's hairs instantly stood on end. He hadn't expected the beast to be hiding another trick. It had become much faster. The cockroach man came to a stop up ahead, its head twisting halfway back around. It stared straight at Jing. An overwhelming sense of danger flooded his entire body. The shadow of death closed over his heart, and the whole world seemed to slow down. In that split second, countless thoughts flashed through Jing's mind like scenes in a rapid montage. And in the end, his awareness fixed on a single image, a true dragon with wings on its back soaring endlessly through a sea of clouds, wrapped in overwhelming lightning, its scales trembling all over as layers of radiance burst forth. At the same time, the cockroach man slammed heavily into Jing, and the tremendous impact put his entire body under shocking pressure. But at that very moment, Jing was struck by sudden inspiration. Every bone in his body began trembling at once, producing a deep rolling sound like muffled thunder, and he somehow started to withstand and absorb that massive impact. Power surged through his body in overlapping waves, carrying the kinetic force that had sunk into his bones and turning it into his own. In the end, all of that power gathered in his right hand. In the dim banquet hall, it almost sounded as if a dragon's roar echoed through the air. As that blow landed, the cockroach man was instantly dealt a devastating hit, and dark green fluid burst outward in all directions. Jing stared blankly at his own fist. The ancient humming resonance still echoed in his ears, as if he had just comprehended some astonishing killing move. And yet, the cockroach man was still thrashing its limbs wildly, as though even after suffering such a heavy blow, it still wanted to kill Jing. Jing frowned, knowing that even after taking damage like that, a monster of this kind still had not completely lost its ability to move. Suppressing his disgust, he struck again at a vital area inside the cockroach man's body. Once that attack fully landed, the cockroach man's struggling gradually slowed and finally stopped. Everyone stared blankly at the boy standing in the middle of the hall and muttered, "It's over. It's dead." Surviving the disaster left them thrilled beyond belief, and cheers erupted everywhere. That kid took down the monster. Which dojo is he from? I'll sponsor 1 million. I'll sponsor 2 million. Second young Master Pei. Hurry and introduce us to him. Zhang Daqing patted Li Zhaoquan on the shoulder and said admiringly, "You actually dared to provoke someone like that." Li Zhaoquan felt weak all over and replied, "Come on, stop making fun of me." He thought to himself, when that kid exchanged moves with me earlier, he probably didn't even use 1% of his real strength. Good thing he showed mercy and didn't cripple me on the spot. At that moment, Xue Jing said to the crowd, "Everyone, get out while you still can. I don't think this is as simple as it looks. I strongly advise all the distinguished guests here to leave as soon as possible." Just then, a man stepped forward and asked, "Little brother, what do you mean by that?" Xue Jing didn't recognize him, so he asked, "And you are?" Only then did the man hand over a business card and introduce himself. "I'm Yi Qinglin, the organizer of this banquet. Are you saying this incident wasn't an accident?" Xue Jing accepted the card and continued. "From what I observed, this wasn't an ordinary blackout. It was an electromagnetic pulse event. Most likely, it was man-made. And that monster was probably brought in on purpose, too. The target was very likely the people here." The moment Yi Qinglin heard that, he clenched his fists. "This has to be a targeted, organized attack against us. I'll make sure my father gets to the bottom of it." Xue Jing fell into thought. So many cameras installed, so many martial artists hired, and even knowing something could happen, you still insisted on holding the banquet here. Aren't you the suspicious one? And the people attending this banquet are clearly no ordinary guests. Why target them specifically? And what exactly is Yi Qinglin hiding? Then he urged everyone present. That monster may have been dealt with, but the danger hasn't truly passed. We need to get out of here now. At that moment, Yi Qinglin leaned close to Xue Jing's ear and whispered, "By the way, brother, do you know what that monster was?" Xue Jing shook his head and said, "I'm just a bodyguard. All I can do is try my best to keep everyone safe. As for anything else, I don't know." Xue Jing glanced at the man from the corner of his eye and thought, "So he's already testing me. Looks like the water here runs even deeper than I thought." Afterward, everyone made it safely to the brightly lit main hall. Xue Jing sat on the sofa, looking at the experience rewards given by the system. That desperate battle with the cockroach man had given a huge amount of experience to his health preservation, running, aim, and combat skills. Xue Jing had known this fight would definitely bring a major payoff, but he had never expected it to meet the specialization requirement too. His physical condition had risen by a whole level out of nowhere. The blood flowing from his wounds was extremely thick, and every injury was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Xue Jing felt a booming vibration explode through his entire body. After leveling up, his condition was restored straight back to full. At that moment, a prompt popped up, requirements met. Basic force control can be converted into special force control. Specialize? Xue Jing's eyes lit up, and he thought of the wind cloud tail. Could this special force control be related to Hidden Dragon School martial arts? But no matter how he looked at it, special force control was clearly stronger than the basic version. So he tapped the option without hesitation. Very soon, Force Control Level 6 on the panel transformed into Hidden Dragon Force level at the same time. An unbelievably smooth sensation rose within Xue Jing's body. It felt like an old, rusted machine had been stripped clean of corrosion and coated again with fresh oil. Force moved through his body, surging back and forth with complete freedom. Xue Jing immediately began using the shaking armor art and the breathing method, mobilizing his body's interior to generate force. Meanwhile, Pei Tiansheng called an ambulance and immediately had the nurses treat and bandage Xue Jing. But unexpectedly, the moment he turned around, he heard the sound of a dragon's roar. Xue Jing was sitting cross-legged, and above him, it seemed as though a golden dragon had appeared, using his body as its lair as it churned like rivers and seas, weaving back and forth. Afterward, Xue Jing returned to the Hidden Dragon Dojo's meditation room, where his sixth senior sister, Zhu Shanying, was applying medicine to him. How did it turn out like this? It was supposed to be just an ordinary security job, and yet a monster like that showed up. Master Li Qi said, "Dojo commissions are always lives lived on the knife's edge. Accidents are unavoidable." Xue Jing asked, "Master, you've seen more than most. Do you know where that monster came from?" But Li Qi said he did not know the details either. He only knew that thing was very likely connected to the boundary land. Xue Jing recalled the boundary land mentioned in the files. It was a rift that naturally formed after the death of a god. What exactly is inside that place? Li Qi told Xue Jing not to overthink it. Surviving was already a blessing. You turned misfortune into fortune this time and comprehended Wind Cloud Tail, the killing move of my Hidden Dragon School. For martial artists, the tempering between life and death really is the best teacher. Xue Jing thought for a moment, then still spoke up. "Master, it's more than that. I think I may have grasped the true essence of the Hidden Dragon School. The moment Li Qi heard that, he got so excited that he stood up from his wheelchair on the spot and strode toward Xue Jing with fierce urgency. He grabbed Xue Jing's wrist and sent his force directly into Xue Jing's body. Unexpectedly, Xue Jing's body moved on instinct. Force surged through him, and a faint dragon roar could be heard. In the next instant, Li Qi was blasted backward. Master had only touched his disciple's wrist, yet he was suddenly knocked flying by mysterious dragon Qi. It turned out the protagonist's body had already nurtured a golden dragon within it. If you wish to hide a true dragon that can stir the clouds and heavens, you must first raise a young dragon within your body. Li Qi was deeply pleased that his disciple had successfully nurtured a dragon. Xue Jing said that after the dragon appeared, the circulation of his force had become much smoother. Li Qi explained that this dragon was not an imaginary image, but a strand of dragon force with its own spiritual awareness. At that point, practicing martial arts is no longer just practicing martial arts. It becomes feeding the dragon inside your body. That is the true essence of my Hidden Dragon School. Xiao Jing, you've already obtained the key to breaking your limit. Xue Jing did not understand, so he immediately knelt and asked humbly, Master, what exactly does breaking the limit mean? Li Qi patiently explained, the human body has limits. Once the 5 great chains of skin, flesh, sinew, bone, and limit have all reached completion, there is nowhere left to advance. At that point, what you need is to break the limit, which means elevating the level of life itself. Reshaping the body is only the most basic part. Outwardly, you may still look human, but the essence of your life is already no longer human. Those who complete that elevation of life are called Everworld Immortals in Taoism and Living Buddhas in Buddhism. So long as nothing goes wrong, they can live at least 150 years, and their bodies remain in peak condition until death. Xue Jing looked toward his master's legs. Clearly, that was the kind of mishap Li Qi meant. Li Qi continued, Xiao Jing, don't worry. You've already accomplished one of the crucial steps. The risk of failure has already been greatly reduced. What remains is just patient grinding over time. Beside them, Zhu Shanning knelt and asked, But Master, I heard Senior Brother say that you were once a powerhouse who crossed the Dragon Gate. Then why did you still grow old? Li Qi's face suddenly darkened. Even now, speaking of the past still stirred his anger, because the dragon I raised was killed by someone. The moment those words came out, Xue Jing and Zhu Shanning froze on the spot. Stunned and speechless, Li Qi began recounting the past. Back then, I still lived in the North District. I relied on my strength too much and acted arrogantly, ignorant of how high the heavens really were. Every day, Meng Boshang and I fought duels against others, and because of that, we made quite a few enemies. Those enemies couldn't beat me, so they went after Meng Boshang's wife and daughter instead. At the time, rage completely clouded my mind, and revenge was the only thing I wanted. No matter how many people tried to stop me, I wasn't afraid. Anyone who came, I killed. For a time, I truly began to believe I was invincible under heaven. But it didn't take long before retribution arrived. A powerful expert broke both my legs and destroyed the true dragon spirit in my heart. I became half a cripple. Back then, there were countless people eager to kick me while I was down. Only Meng Boshang was still willing to stay by my side. Later, to escape our enemies and avoid the purge, we slunk out of the North District and came here, where we founded the Hidden Dragon Dojo. Light flickered in Xue Jing's eyes as he asked, Master, don't you want revenge? Li Qi let out a soft sigh and said, If you ask whether I've ever thought about revenge, then of course I have. But my enemies are people from the North District. They're not the small fry around here. Dealing with even one of them would be difficult, let alone many. In any case, you don't need to worry about it. These are all old matters from the past. If one day you can rightfully enter the inner ring, then it won't be too late to talk about this again. Soon, the time reached midnight. As Xue Jing was walking up the stairs, he received a message. It was the hotel informing him that 80,000 yuan in wages had already been transferred to his bank account. But when he opened the door, he didn't see the cat coming out to greet him. Wanner isn't around again. Don't tell me she's bathing again this time, too. After that, he used visualization and swept his gaze across the entire apartment. In his mind, he reconstructed every possible action Wanner might have taken, then used imagination to reverse the sequence and match it against every subtle trace inside the home. In the end, he concluded that Wanner seemed to have heard something and then climbed out through the balcony. Xue Jing immediately followed the traces she left behind to the balcony and looked outside. Not far from the residential complex, he spotted 3 shadows in a dark alley. Looking carefully, He saw that they were 2 human-shaped figures and 1 animal-shaped figure. Xuejing frowned and guessed Wanner might be in danger. At the same time, Wanner sat atop a broken brick wall and said, "Didn't you already run off? Why are you back looking for me?" The tall figure looked at Wanner and said in a low voice, "I didn't run. I went back to the main sect because His Eminence Anunta Shisha, the Infinite Dragon, has responded to us." Wanner immediately felt a terrifying sense of oppression, and her green pupils filled with vigilance. As Mr. spoke, he walked toward Wanner. "Cult leader, your aptitude is excellent. You are certain to become one of the blessed. When that time comes, we'll be able to rebuild everything through the power of religion." But the moment his words fell, a hand blocked his way. "Can't you see she doesn't want to go?" At the critical moment, Xuejing suddenly appeared and stopped the cultists in their tracks. Mr. revealed chilling vertical pupils and asked Wanner in return, "Cult leader, aren't you afraid that Kant Company will find out this boy exists?" The moment Wanner heard those 4 words, her expression turned grave, as though she feared them deeply. Seeing that, Xuejing strode toward Mr. "I can't just pretend I didn't hear that." Afraid of causing a misunderstanding, Mr. quickly explained, "What I mean is if the cult leader keeps living in your home, then once Kant Company finds out, you'll definitely be dragged into it." Xuejing glanced back at Wanner, unsure what she was really thinking. But Kant Security Company was definitely no ordinary force. After the death of the gods, the world had briefly descended into chaos. The authorities lacked the strength to govern everything directly, so they outsourced part of their law enforcement power to various security companies, allowing them to build and expand armed forces of their own. Kant Security Company was one of them. Unlike the others, it had grown with terrifying speed and quickly became a massive power deeply rooted in society. By now, it was no longer under control. Wanner, in her cat form, had originally been hidden here well enough. But now that people from a dragon sect had already tracked her down, the risk of her being exposed had risen dramatically. Still, even if Kant Security Company really does come, I'm not afraid. Thinking that, Xuejing answered decisively, "Mr. she's not going back." Wanner had already started thinking about leaving, but after hearing Xuejing's answer, she began to hesitate again. Mr. believed Xuejing had no way of protecting Wanner. "You have no idea how dangerous Kant Security Company really is. Against someone like you, they'd only need to send a random squad in." But Wanner snapped impatiently, "Enough. If you people hadn't shown up, none of this would have happened in the first place. I never wanted to be some dragon sect cult leader. That dead old man made the decision on his own and forced me into the role of heir. And now you want me to accept some blessing? If anyone's going to do that, do it yourselves. Leave me out of it." Wanner looked badly startled and kept glancing around, gauging everyone's emotions. Wanner then said shyly, "Besides, even if something really happens, aging will protect me, right?" Xuejing smiled and nodded. "I will." After that, the boy and the cat left the dark alley together. Mr. did not stop them. He could only watch their departing backs with helpless resignation. At the same time, in a hidden basement somewhere in the South District, an old man looked at the news on his phone and frowned. Number 1 actually got killed by a 17-year-old high school student. Even Cheng Xian, at 17, probably would have had a hard time beating number 1. So there's actually a genius in Qingsheng even stronger than Cheng Xian. Duan Kaiping immediately flattered him. That's different. Junior brother had only been practicing martial arts for a short time when he was 17. The one in the news was probably secretly cultivated by Hidden Dragon Dojo for years before finally making a stunning debut. The old man tossed the phone to Duan Kaiping and said, "Forget it. It doesn't matter. We didn't get the exact result we wanted, but at least a few people died. Consider it a warning shot to the governing council." "How is number 9 doing?" Duan Kaiping swallowed hard. He devoured number 7 last night too. He's only been alive for 10 days, but his growth rate is way too fast. The old man looked pleased. "Looks like number 9 is the most cost-effective perfect specimen so far. From now on, all feeding and production will use number 9 as the baseline. Also, find a time to send number 9 out for a public appearance. That high school kid in the news is from Qingfu High, right? That's the best high school in Xinjiang. If something happens there, support for that bill should rise sharply." Fear showed in Duan Kaiping's eyes as he nodded and answered, "Yes." Early the next morning, Xuejing arrived at Hidden Dragon Dojo and buried himself in training. Practice martial arts, keep growing. Sooner or later, he would solve every problem. And even if he couldn't solve the problems themselves, he could definitely solve the people creating them. Company, parent company, whatever. He'd smash them all apart with one punch. The technique he was currently practicing was one of the 5 great killing moves of the Hidden Dragon School, Shaking Starfire. It was a penetrative technique that activated force, sent it into the enemy's body, and detonated it from within, specially designed to deal with tough body tempering specialists. Just then, Chun Fu Wang's shout came from the doorway. Junior brother, you hit the jackpot. He hurried over and threw an arm around Xue Jing's shoulders. Was it you who took down a monster at Ruizhu Hotel yesterday and saved a bunch of rich second-generation kids? Today, our Hidden Dragon Dojo received a ton of donations, all from those rich kids. Master said all that money counts as your reward. It's all being credited to your account. The total is 22 million. Xue Jing's eyes immediately lit up. That much? These rich heirs really know how to return a favor. Senior brother Chun Fu Wang handed over a plan that Master had prepared and said, Master said now that you've got this much money, you can't keep training like a penny pincher anymore. Xue Jing opened the training plan and saw that his daily tonic expenses were only 280 compared to the more than 20 million he now had. It practically felt like pocket change. But Chun Fu Wang kept smiling and reminded him, flip a little farther ahead. Xue Jing turned a few more pages and read out the words on them. 1 Ningqi heart-nourishing pill every week, 800, 2 injected steam sauna medicinal baths, 23 million. 1 open goal massage every 2 weeks, 8 million. 1 session in the high-pressure stone chamber every month, 2 million. He could not help sighing. So it really is true that scholarship makes the scholar, but wealth makes the warrior. Chun Fu Wang patted him on the shoulder and laughed. Get ready to say goodbye to your 20 million. Then he picked up his phone, swiped a few times, and handed it to Xue Jing. Also, junior brother, take a look at this. Someone leaked the story of you taking down that monster yesterday to the news. Junior brother, you've become Ching Ching's hero now. Just then, his phone suddenly rang with an unknown number. The moment he picked up, his teacher's roar came through the speaker. Xue Jing, do you even know how long it's been since you showed up to class? You've really grown bold, haven't you? Skipping class to work part-time? Now that you're some big hero, you think you don't need to come to school anymore? Xue Jing answered calmly. How could that be? Something happened at home a little while ago. But in the very next second, the teacher exposed his true motive. The school sports meet starts in a few days, so I already signed you up. Xue Jing was instantly speechless. At the same time, his senior sister Zhu Shanning waved to him from the doorway. Xue Jing quickly used an urgent matter as an excuse and hung up on his teacher. 6th senior sister, do you need something from me? Zhu Shanning said, there's a commission specifically for you, and it pays very well. Xue Jing raised a brow and asked, what kind of commission? Zhu Shanning answered, a sparring job. The client is also a martial artist. They saw the news, got curious about you, and want to exchange a few moves with you. The pay is 500. The moment Xue Jing heard that even a sparring job paid 500,000, he agreed on the spot. The client lived in the North District of the Inner Ring, where most of the residents were high-ranking government officials. The area had always been known as the Noble North. It was said that a random person there could earn in a few minutes what an outer ring household might make in an entire year. Xue Jing felt that paying 500,000 just for a sparring session was a bit absurd. But then again, the spending habits of the rich were always different. Xue Jing stepped through a gate wide enough for a large vehicle to pass through. There, he saw that the Pei brothers, Pei Tianqing and Pei Yoguang, were already standing inside waiting for him. With a puzzled look, Xue Jing asked, are you the ones who placed the commission with our dojo? Pei Tianqing shook his head. No, you misunderstood. Someone wanted to meet you and used me to arrange it. Xue Jing turned a stern gaze toward Pei Yoguang. Pei Yoguang hurriedly explained, Jingji, don't get the wrong idea. This has nothing to do with me. My dad specifically ordered me to do it. Xue Jing kept staring at him. So your dad wants to exchange moves with me? Pei Yoguang looked just as unsure. No, someone else asked my dad for the favor. Pei Tianqing looked a little awkward and said tactfully, let me explain. We can talk while we walk. That person is from some official organization, but I don't know exactly which one. My dad told us again and again to satisfy his request. At last night's dinner, he said he wanted me to bring you out and meet him. By that point, Xue Jing already had some guesses of his own. It's very likely someone from Khan Security Company. In the end, Pei Tianqing still offered him one piece of advice. Xue Jing, even though you're strong, don't let your guard down. That man may be stronger than anyone you've ever met so far. At that moment, a man lounging in the sun smiled. So you finally made it. Xue Jing, nice to meet you. You can call me Mountain Imp. Xue Jing studied Mountain Imp carefully and realized right away that this was no ordinary man. He looked exactly like the sort of man who had served in the military and grown used to bloodshed. Mountain Imp grinned. Then let's not waste time. Let's become friends right away. And the best way to make friends is to beat the hell out of each other. The moment the words left his mouth, the ground exploded and Mountain Imp's figure vanished. Yet when Xue Jing saw Mountain Imp suddenly appear right in front of him, his expression did not change. He immediately threw a punch and collided head-on with him. The force behind it was tremendous, letting out a shrill howl as it tore through the air. That man actually used his flesh and blood body to block the iron fist. After the clash, his bones trembled all over as he absorbed and converted the force. In the next instant, Wind Cloud Tail came crashing out like the sweep of a true dragon's tail, condenser all force into that backhanded heavy punch. A thunderous blast rang out, and Mountain Imp was sent flying more than 20 meters away before plunging into the grass. The sight left the Pei brothers utterly stunned. Yet not only was Xue Jing unharmed, he had even blasted the other man away. Xue Jing dusted the dirt off his clothes and thought, at this level, he's probably just some ordinary rich kid. Bracing both hands against the ground, Mountain Imp pushed hard and pulled his head right back out of the turf. Then he spread his arms wide and howled. That punch felt so damn good. He turned towards Xue Jing, his eyes blazing with extreme excitement. What are you standing there for? Come hit me again. Xue Jing was speechless and thought, you spent 500,000 just to hire someone to beat the crap out of you. But it was strange. Wind Cloud Tail had been strong enough to blow apart the cockroach man, yet barely seemed to do anything to this guy. Why does this feel kind of similar to that semi-bio-human named Zhuingquan? Xue Jing directly asked, are you an implant user? Mountain Imp looked surprised. Didn't expect an outer ring guy like you to know a thing or two. There's a layer of B1 protective membrane installed under my skin. It's entry-level military-grade implant tech. So what do you think? Want one installed too? Xue Jing calmly shook his head. No thanks. Not interested. Mountain Imp clicked his tongue. One after another, you people all answer like that. Seriously, why are martial artists always so unwilling to face reality? Wake up. Times have changed. The moment those final words fell, Mountain Imp shot forward like an arrow. He swung his two ape-like long arms, one from the left and one from the right, straight at Xue Jing's head. The strike was unbelievably fast. The surrounding airflow twisted with it, giving Xue Jing the faint sensation that he was being bound in place. As it turned out, Mountain Imp's hands had been modified so they could emit a special sonic wave on impact. So dodging is useless. I'm the one winning this match. Mountain Imp grinned, convinced victory was in his hands, and sent another iron fist crashing forward. But the sound of a dragon's cry thundered through Xue Jing's mind, restore his awareness to perfect clarity in an instant. Right after that, he clenched his right hand into a fist, poured dragon force into it, and drove a rising dragon fist straight at Mountain Imp's chest. In the next second, Mountain Imp was blasted straight into the air, rising a full 7 or 8 meters. After that, he began to drop back down freely. Xue Jing slowly withdrew his fist and thought, if your protective membrane is that tough, then I'll just pour the force directly into your body. It doesn't take much strength to knock someone out. A light strike is more than enough. Just then, a woman's voice suddenly came from Mountain Imp's chest. Mountain Imp's consciousness is cut out. Looks like he's not your match. A trace of shock flashed across Xue Jing's face. They actually installed a communicator inside his body. Then he asked aloud, who are you people? What do you want with me? The woman continued, wait there a moment. I'll be there soon. The Pei brothers guessed that this was probably some kind of test. Xue Jing, of course, did not buy it. Your imaginations are way too wild. Xue Jing nudged the Mountain Imp at his feet with a kick. Hey, if you're awake, then get up. Mountain Imp rubbed his head and sprang right back to his feet. Damn, that hurt. By the way, how'd you break my move just now? Xue Jing explained. The essence of your move is using sonic waves to hit my brain. I just countered it with something stronger. Hearing that, Mountain Imp's face turned awkward as he thought. This kid hasn't even gone all out yet. Then he instructed the Pei brothers. You two go wander around somewhere else for a while. Only after sending the brothers away did Mountain Imp finally tell the truth. I really am a member of an official organization, and I want to invite you to join us. Xue Jing shook his head. If it's a legitimate organization, couldn't you just invite me properly? I'm really not happy with your organization style. In truth, Xue Jing was very satisfied with the life he had now. Train in peace, grow steadily. What could be more comfortable than that? After being rejected, Mountain Imp started getting a little worked up. I admit my style is kind of wild, but there are only benefits to joining us. Take this B1 protective membrane, for example. If you join us, you can get one for free. But Xue Jing had absolutely no interest in their protective membrane. Mountain Imp said, the human body has limits. Once you experience what it feels like to hit a wall and never be able to move forward again, you'll go completely mad. But no matter how much Mountain Imp tried to persuade him, Xue Jing remained unmoved. He only said flatly, "You're right, but I refuse. Crushing people like you, modified humans with nothing but a pure natural body, sounds way more interesting to me." Just then, the captain of White Crow Squad 838 descended from the sky and said coldly, "Shut up, Mountain Imp. You're terrible at recruiting people." In Xue Jing's field of view, his powerful static vision instantly locked onto the airborne target, allowing him to see her with perfect clarity. In the next moment, the woman landed in front of everyone, kicking up a rolling cloud of dust. She looked to be around 27 or 28. Facing Xue Jing, she said, "We meet again. Maybe you still remember me. I'm the captain of White Crow Squad. That gorilla next to you is one of my team members." Mountain Imp's face twisted immediately. "Hey, I'm not a gorilla," Xue Jing muttered under his breath. "Didn't you introduce me to Wu Yuqing before? Why are you trying to recruit me again now?" Void Blade coughed lightly and said, "This time, it's an order from above. Besides recruiting you, I came here for a second mission. This is the monster you killed a few days ago. Do you know where it came from?" As she spoke, she projected a holographic image of the cockroach man from a wristband. Xue Jing voiced his guess. "Was it a creature from the Boundary Land?" Void Blade answered, "Not exactly. It does have the characteristics of a Boundary Land creature. For example, this core. A core is the power source of Boundary Land creatures, but it isn't necessarily located in the heart. It could also be in the limbs, fingernails, or even the skin. As long as the core isn't removed, they can keep regenerating." Hearing that, Xue Jing felt a chill run through him. Good thing he had accidentally removed its core back then. Then he asked in return, "If it has a core organ, why did you say it's not completely one of them?" Void Blade tapped her wristband, and a new holographic image appeared in the air. This thing is called the Heavenly Lodestar Insect Mother. It's a life form from Boundary Land F056, the Rotflesh Lake. Its maximum danger rating can reach as high as... Xue Jing did not quite understand and frowned. "Wait, what exactly is a danger rating? And what does 2 mean?" Void Blade looked surprised. "Don't the dojos in the Outer Ring even teach this?" Then she turned to Mountain Imp. "Gorilla, send me the combat data from your fight just now." Mountain Imp replied helplessly, "I already said, I'm not a gorilla." After a while, Void Blade's wristband lit up again. "Your current danger rating is already around 9-2. A normal adult male has a danger rating of around 1 to your danger rating is 9, which roughly translates to 1,280 normal adult males. As for the Heavenly Lodestar Insect Mother, it's equivalent to 65,000. Of course, that's only under extreme circumstances. An unawakened Heavenly Lodestar Insect Mother only has a danger rating of 8, and its primary function is reproduction. The Heavenly Lodestar Insect Mother can absorb genetic information from the creatures it consumes and then give birth to corresponding insect breeds. It can even devour different kinds of creatures and forcibly mash their genes together. A month ago, a smuggling ring captured a Heavenly Lodestar Insect Mother from Rotflesh Lake and brought it out. After we got word of it, we chased them all the way. But once they reached the South District of Qingsheng, they vanished. And now, through you, we finally found another lead. Only then did Xue Jing fully understand. "You mean the cockroach man I killed was something born from the Heavenly Lodestar Insect Mother?" Void Blade nodded. "Exactly." After receiving confirmation, Xue Jing's hand could not help trembling slightly. So that thing really was a fusion of cockroach and human. Void Blade continued. "You've probably already noticed that the cockroach men are getting stronger and stronger. Whoever possesses the Heavenly Lodestar Insect Mother is likely improving them continuously. And the people who have repeatedly ruined their plans have now become targets themselves." Following her train of thought, Xue Jing asked, "So you want me to join because you're trying to protect me?" Void Blade answered sincerely, "Of course not. Xue Jing, you're only 17, yet you already have both outstanding talent and the courage to face Boundary Land creatures head-on. Our White Crow Special Unit is backed by the state and has the most professional and advanced cultivation system in all of Zhuxia. We can absolutely bring out your potential from every angle without leaving a single blind spot." For a brief moment, Xue Jing was honestly a little tempted. What she described did sound very appealing. But unfortunately, the supreme cultivation system above all others was something he had possessed from the very beginning.